Cool. So, let's see if I have a microphone. Does that actually work?
The company.
So all of these have float recorders, so you can't. I have nothing to worry about with editing. As long as people don't complain, I can't hear anything.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna try
Which
to keep
is
the balance
common.
true for the live stream.
Okay, let's see. This should be connected to the Wi-Fi of my router. If I'm sitting or I'm not saying anything, then you can just keep 1 and 2 turned off, because that's Mackenzie and I. Only if it looks like we're going to go up to somebody to speak. This way it's not like adding mud. Okay, this is my fake name for my YouTube account on my phone, because I don't want... On top...
Going through all the ads.
Fucking ads. Ugh. Wait, why am I Googling instead of using YouTube? Okay, come on. Open it.
Just FYI, for T-minus 4 minutes, do you want to go to the restroom?
I put off going to the restroom until stuff works. Remind me to mute the switch. Yeah. Oh, I'm unplugging that. There's no way. I'm not making that mistake. I'm not making that mistake. Okay.
Just don't confess in the mirror.
Okay. Bah. Hey. Thank you. Do a pan so that people can see how many people showed up. That's crazy. This entire place is full. Wow. Holy shit. Oh, fuck you, Mayor of Denver. Okay. There's a bathroom.
To the restroom.
If I stand this close, will it fuck up what you're doing? Because there's like literally nowhere else to stand.
Actually, very happy I set up this umbrella.
Yeah.
Not for the light, but just for like not having people crowding behind me.
Look at how many people showed up to this. Let's pan. Who are you with?
Fox 31 channel 2.
Oh, cool. Just no-name YouTube channel.
Ah.
Pleasure to meet you. You have a nicer camera than me. Is that an FX6? FX9?
Are you Lewis?
Yes.
Okay, we've got us. They want to know what the live stream link is.
YouTube.com/Rossman Group. If they can spell my last name right, they can find it. But they have to spell my last name right. It's
ROSSMAN?
2 N's. 2 S's, 2 N's. So YouTube.com/Rossman Group, and they'll find it. YouTube.com/Rossman Group. My name is like a captcha. Nobody gets. You have a bigger camera, but I think I have a bigger battery, so it evens out.
It's all right. Oh, it's just a little bit
This is a
bigger.
little bit ridiculous. Well, thank you for covering this. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming out. Thank you. Where's Mackenzie? Can I see this one?
Yep.
I may just want to talk to people while I'm heading around. Some people. Before it starts. Mute me when they start speaking. I'm just going to talk to a few people.
They're
Later.
about to-
Okay. Look at how many people showed up to this. Oh. Absolutely sad.
Folks, if I could have your attention, please, for a second. If you're parked in front of our bay doors, could I kindly ask that you just move your car to further into the parking lot, please? We have some shipping that's needed to be done. So if you're parked in front of the bay doors over here by shipping, it's into the further parking lot. If you could move your vehicle, please. Thank you. That's in the fenced-in area. Yes, sir. Thank you. And while I have your attention, there is overflow of this room just through these doors here into the cafeteria with more seating. And it's just this live stream. So please feel free if you haven't found a seat. Thank you for being here, and feel free to make your way into the cafeteria there.
Been in a lot of crowded spaces.
The live stream is available online, yes.
I'm sorry.
If you search YouTube and then go search Rossman, it's on his YouTube channel. It's alive right now.
Doesn't have an insurance.
No.
I need a water.
I mean, they're here for a reason, right?
Thirsty. Oh, well. Oh, well. So thirsty.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
I'll trust it.
I think as well, like a lot of individuals, which is really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Most of the time, like some people.
Yeah, but I like this cup. It's very pretty. I like the handle. It's less likely for me to spill it on somebody. My whole company is based on people spilling things and other people's stuff, so it's made me very aware of it. Sorry. Hey, pleasure. Ooh, sorry. Water. I'm sorry.
Oh, did he leave? Okay.
So excuse me, I'm sorry.
Hello. This is a seat if you want to.
Look at how many people showed up.
No, fuck yeah. This is awesome.
This is like
I tried to make my way around the crowd. I turn around, there's 20 more people. I turn around, there's 50 more people.
counts. How many people?
Count them? Can you leave it?
There has to be at least 250,
It's probably-
350
yeah.
people in here.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
This is what happens when you invite all of Denver. Oh. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
What?
I'm not going to remember to mute.
Oh yeah, I saw.
I wasn't trying to.
I know.
I was trying
It's
to
so
balance something
crowded
and hold
in
the
here.
camera.
It's so crowded in here.
I think I messed up whatever position you had. Also, this thingy is a level. I didn't know that when I bought it. When the little thing is green in the middle. Because they used to put that little dot on the camcorder, on the tripod, but they don't have it where you can see it anymore. Hers probably has it because she has a nice tripod.
I've seen that a lot of cameras I have, they throw a full on, like, air, like,
There's
pilot.
a lot of fucking people here.
The person who sold me the tripod is the one that pointed it out when I said, I can't see the thing. And he's like, you can put it on the camera now. It's like, I don't want it on the camera. I want it on I want it to be on the tripod.
I actually bought one of, like, little rubber shoes,
Yeah.
like, where this goes.
So it is both, from what I understand. Like Unity's on all
Yeah.
the Mary thing. I think you have to have the mayor for optics, right?
I have a better wireless audio than the woman from Fox.
I'm happy for you.
That inflated my ego so
Fuck
much.
yeah,
You
hell
have
yeah.
no idea. Still using analog generation 2 wireless from 2014.
Hello. Hello, hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. How are we doing today? Doing good? Awesome. We're going to get started here soon, but I have just a quick announcement. My name's Olegario. Mi nombre es Olegario. Today we do have interpretation services for Spanish speakers. El día de hoy tenemos interpretación. Sorry, that's a hard word sometimes. Para la gente que habla español, si ustedes necesitan interpretación, por favor búsquenos. We're going to be in that back corner over there. Crisol tiene la mano para arriba si quieren interpretación. Ahí vamos a estar en la mesa de la esquina de mano izquierda. Thank you all so much, and we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. Bye.
Huh? Which is what? Oh, this has a proximity sensor. Watch. Do you ever use this thing? Huh? Do you use this view?
I don't.
Do you use this viewfinder?
I don't.
So then do this. There's a proximity sensor where if you put your head in front of that, the display goes off. That scared the crap out of me in the beginning.
Yes, I was just like,
Oh, yeah, and this is, I don't want to knock the HDMI off.
thank you.
Are we streaming right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I made sure everybody heard me bragging about my superior audio.
Fuck
Fox.
yeah. Absolutely. I should have
After
known.
all,
I should have known.
after what you've put me through? Oh,
Only the best quality microphones. I'll make sure of that.
Check, check. Can everybody hear me? How's everybody feeling? All right. I know it's a very, very packed room. There is an overflow room just right here to my right, behind me. So if you want more comfortable seating, there is space back there. With that, we're going to get started. Thank you all so much for coming. My name is Nate Casa, and I'm a member and organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Oh, okay. I want to thank all of the organizations included on here for being co-hosts of this event tonight. Thank you to our gracious hosts, Luann, Raymond, Jeff, and the entire Geotech team for hosting us here. Yep, give it up for them. Thank you. Okay, with that, I just want to provide a very brief recap of how we got here tonight. And I want to do a quick temperature check. Raise your hand for the statement that you would say describes your knowledge about how much you know about Flock. So raise your hand if you feel like you know like just a little bit about Flock. Okay. Raise your hand if you feel like you know like a decent amount about Flock. Okay, most people. And then raise your hand if you feel like you're a Flock expert. You know everything about Flock. Oh, damn. Okay, damn. Crazy. All right. With that, I'm just going to provide a brief recap of how we got here, like I said, the series of events that led us to this town hall today. And I'll start with February of 2024, which was when the first contract that Denver got into with the Flock private company. It wasn't voted on by city council. It was for the amount of $340,000 for 93 cameras. And that detail is crucial because in the city of Denver, there's a law that says that contracts under $500,000 do not have to be voted on by the city council. And so that first contract came to be in February 2024. And so between February 2024 and February of 2025, Flock cameras were up and running across our city without much public knowledge. And then in early April 2025, a 2-year contract extension was proposed to the city council. And a lot more information began to be uncovered about how these Flock cameras operated. And because of the second Trump administration being underway, many, many people, including myself, had a lot of concerns. Some of those concerns began to be validated in April of 2025 when Loveland Police Department gave access to their Flock portal to an ATF, that's Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms federal agent who did multiple searches for ICE nationwide, including Denver's data. If you'll remember, ATF participated. It was one of the administrations or one of the agencies that took part in the raids here on February 5th in Denver and Aurora. And so a lot of these concerns about the federal administration using this data began to be validated. And as this news began to spread, thousands of people across Denver began raising concerns, including many of the organizations co-hosting tonight, about this technology. That was when, because of the outcry of so many people across Denver, Denver finally left the national network. And the national network was basically a network of thousands, more than 6,000 agencies across Colorado, across the nation, more than 6,000 agencies across the nation that had an agreement where they would share their Flock data with each other. And so because of the consistent advocacy, the outcry from thousands of Denverites, like many of you here, Denver decided to leave the national network. And so fast forward a little bit, I'm almost done. On May 5th, the Denver City Council voted 12-0 against a contract extension with Flock. And soon after that, yeah, give it up. So that was May 5th. City Council votes 12-0. May 14th, Mayor Johnson tells 9 News that he fully intends to keep every Flock camera up and running in the city of Denver. And then in July, we learned through Denver audit logs that Denver's Flock cameras have been accessed over 1,400 times, with the reason for search being immigration and customs enforcement. And that's And that's when so many of the organizations that are sponsoring tonight's event and thousands of people decided to sign on to a petition that demanded the mayor's office shut down the flock cameras. That petition, got 1,300 signatures, and people delivered. Oh, that was very late. Sorry, guys. But anyway, that's when the petition was delivered with more than 1,300 signatures. And so that brings us to August, when a 9 News investigation revealed that Flock Safety lied publicly about having contracts with federal immigration enforcement after it was revealed that U.S. Border Patrol was an active Flock user with access to over 82,000 cameras nationwide. So, the mayor then decided to push through a contract for $498,500 in early August without council vote, just shy of that $500,000 threshold that I mentioned. And then also, why many of the RNOs here, the registered neighborhood organizations here, heard about that, about flock cameras, is because they received a permit application. They received news about a permit application that flock cameras were to be installed in their neighborhoods. And so in response to that, again, the pressure has continued, and 17 organizations issued a statement asking the mayor to turn off the flock cameras. And so before we jump into the program, we have heard news just this morning from the mayor's office, and I would like to just share a quick update about that, and I'm going to welcome up Katie Leonard to share some news about that.
How y'all feeling? How you feeling? Good. My name's Katie. I'm a journalist and organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation here in Denver. And we have some recent updates that I'm sure some of you, have any of you seen the news today about what's been going on? Okay, good number of people haven't, so this is going to be a little shocking to y'all. So instead of joining us here at this town hall tonight, the mayor announced this morning that he is, once again, unilaterally, without a public process or a council vote, extending the city's contract with Flock. So, yeah. So apparently, Mayor Mike has been having negotiations with Garrett Langley, the CEO of Flock, behind closed doors to strike a deal. To strike this deal, which is a 5-month extension, which takes us through March of 2026. And there are some alleged new data sharing restrictions that are included in this contract, which I'll talk about in a second. And, of course, it was for less than that $500,000 threshold that requires a city council vote. And so I just wanted to start it out by asking you all, how do you feel about that? Make some noise, give me some thumbs. During a crisis of democracy in this country, right now, just following a weekend when millions of people poured out into the streets for No King's Day protests, one man made a decision behind a closed door with the CEO of a private company about a technology that threatens all of our constitutional rights, especially right now. To many of us, this is just a continuation of Mayor Mike Johnston's undemocratic abuse of power surrounding Flock mass surveillance technology. Instead of engaging the Flock task force that he created, instead of engaging in a public process, instead of engaging his city council, instead of coming here tonight to hear from all of us, right, this beautiful show of democracy, this community-led town hall, instead of doing any of those things, Mayor Mike Johnston walked into a room with the CEO of a private multi-billion-dollar company who happens to have the same billionaire donor as him, and he shut the door behind them. And now I just want to be really, really clear about who Mayor Mike Johnston was negotiating this contract extension with behind that closed door. And I hope these videos don't play at the same time, so give me a second if they do, I'm sorry.
The company that runs license.
They did. So I'm going to give you a little synopsis. The first video on the left side is CEO of Flock, Garrett Langley, telling 9 News that absolutely no, Flock does not have any contracts with any federal law enforcement agencies. Flock does not have any contracts with Customs and Border Patrol or ICE. Just days later, 9 News found out that, guess what? Flock had a contract at the time of that interview with Customs and Border Patrol, which really shines a light on the type of person that Garrett Langley is. Included on that clip is also a little, and you can check it out, a little clip about how much he doesn't really care what ICE does. He has no opinion on ICE, which is interesting. And I just want to get into one piece of this extension, but you all should read this full statement, the ACLU's statement. So there are allegedly new data sharing restrictions that are going to be in this contract extension. One of those being that there has to be a memorandum of understanding between Denver and any agency outside of Denver if they want access to our data. And I think the ACLU of Colorado really hit the nail on the head with this statement and saying that a memorandum of understanding is not a judicial warrant, right? It is a very low threshold, and we need a much higher threshold to protect our constitutional rights here in Denver, especially at a time like this one. So I just want to read you this part of this statement because I think it's really fantastic and you should read the whole thing. These safeguards will not be enough. Tracking someone's vehicle, where they're going and when, then storing that information and sharing it without a judicial warrant or exigent circumstances raises real questions around a person's reasonable expectation of privacy. And while the mayor says the data cannot be shared with federal agencies, there are still avenues for federal law enforcement agencies like ICE to gain access to that data. This is a great statement. Please read the whole thing. And I do also want to take a moment to say that although the restrictions in this new contract extension, is nowhere near what we want, what the majority of people in Denver want, which is for the cameras to be turned off, I think. Is that right? These restrictions actually wouldn't exist unless people like us get together. The reason that these restrictions are happening is because people like us have gotten together, like we are here tonight, and we've been fighting for our constitutional rights. This is actually a very small win. It is not the end of the road because we need to keep fighting for our rights, but this wouldn't have happened without our movement. So give it up for each other and keep coming out. And Denverites are going to continue to keep fighting for our constitutional rights, isn't that right? Denver is not going to get down on our knees for a billionaire, for a CEO, and definitely not for a privately owned, multi-billion-dollar mass surveillance company. Isn't that right? We don't need a king of Denver to make decisions for us. We are capable. We can and we will determine our future. Isn't that right? Because we got this little thing called people power, and I'm an organizer, so I gotta do a quick chant. So when I say, who's got the power, you say, we got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. Now when I say, what kind of power, you say, people power. What kind of power? People power. Who's got the power? What kind of power? Equal power. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, with that, we're gonna jump into it. So I'm gonna describe quickly the format of tonight's program. So this town hall was organized by several registered neighborhood organizations, community organizations, and advocacy organizations to inform the public and to give you all an opportunity to voice your perspectives on Flock technology. The mayor said he was not able to be available in all of October to attend a meeting. But we found it important to continue this event because you all live in this city, it's our city, and we have the right to share our opinions about what affects us. So, here's what you can expect. We're going to begin by hearing from 3 community leaders coming from different parts of Denver about their concerns about flock technology. And then each of these 3 leaders will have a question that they will pose to the city council members here tonight. And then council will have an opportunity to respond. We'll then have a question directed towards the mayor's office and DPD after that, those 3 presentations. And then we're going to open it up. We're going to have about 30 minutes or so where you all, as members of the community, can ask your questions and share your opinions. So with that, I'm going to welcome up our first presenter, John McKinney with the East Colfax Neighborhood Association. Give it up for John. There's a little clicker if you want one. Oh, do you want me to click for you?
Yeah, I'll click on this wheel. Hey guys, my name's John McKinney. I am president of the East Colfax Neighborhood Association. And wow, when I ran for president of our neighborhood association, I was going to advocate for some sidewalks, yeah, clean up a few alleys, and afterward, I was going to have a few brewskis with my neighbors. I never could have imagined that it involved trying to stand up for our Fourth Amendment right as an American. And I want to thank everybody here for standing up for my neighborhood and the citizens within it, standing up for our city and the citizens within it, and standing up for our nation. We don't deserve mass surveillance. Quick side note, I would like to thank the council members Gonzalez Gutierrez and Councilman Parody for being here tonight. Since we have such a large audience, I'd like to say you'll notice on your ballot that somebody is trying to erode our democracy here in Denver by changing the way the elections occur. And we're not a 501c3, so our neighborhood organization can be political. Vote no on that, and then go to the ballot and scream hell no. All right? We want to maintain our democracy. So, oh gosh, what? 2G. 2G. So absolutely no on 2G. Tell every neighbor. All right? So, why am I here? Well, number one, to speak on behalf of the community, but also during the day, I'm a technology consultant, mainly related to broadband, but my career is I take complex technology issues and I break them down into simple terms. And so what I wanted to do is break down what this flock technology does in simple terms. So let's talk about what flock is. It's 2 things. Number one, it's a series of cameras, and we're used to cameras all over the town. These cameras work off a solar panel. I don't know if we have any pictures of this. Ah, yeah. And they can be mounted on a street light. They can be mounted on a post. They've obviously been in our community for a few years, or not a few years, just a few months now. But they have a sensor that as you drive by with a vehicle, it takes a video and a photo of the car. Now, with that, it takes that photo, does a little bit of magic inside of the camera, but not very complicated magic. And then it uses the cellular system to send that technology to a back-end server, a database. And it used to be, back in the day, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. In Flock's case, a picture is worth 1,000 search terms. So what it does is it creates what they refer to as a vehicle fingerprint. It takes different features about that car. So you can't just take off your license plate to get around it. We don't recommend that either way. But it's telling all the features of your car. That includes the color. Oh, my apologies. Thank you. That includes the color of your car, the style of your car, features about your car. It also is intelligent enough to start to figure out what the make and model of that car is, all through machine learning. Now, right now, that's kind of the limit of what it's doing as far as identification. However, it's always good to read a patent to find out where this technology is going, because that is the true intent. You want to defend that intent. That's the purpose of a patent. And this patent for Flock actually talks about the back-end database and how it can determine race, it can determine the clothes that somebody's wearing, and other features, height, weight. So many features about an individual that are actually very personal information. And with that, I think it's not hard to see where that can lead beyond cars. So it's not just cars. Eventually, this can definitely lead to bicycles and pedestrians, meaning that anytime we leave our house, we'd be under constant surveillance. Now, the other part of Flock that is really interesting is they didn't necessarily start out marketing to police departments. They started out marketing to, here, we'll see if we get another slide here. There we go. So they actually market to large companies like Target, Walmart. There was one, as I was going into Buc-ee's the other day, I saw a Flock camera. And when they're marketing to these companies, they don't talk about data security. They talk about a 60,000 camera network with 6,000 agencies and how they're creating a data net. But what they also sell with that is predictive technology, crime prevention, thinking about what you're doing before you're doing it. Yeah, and with that, you know, just alone in Denver, it's capturing 2 million images a day. They're tracking us as we're going. So, 2 million. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 million a month. Thank you. All right. So, with that, we're going to talk a little bit about data security. And in the press releases that you're going to read about the contract the mayor signed this morning, it's going to be presented that he's taking care of this data security. And what he's done is he's requiring a memorandum of understanding with other agencies. I don't know that a memorandum of understanding can override somebody's religious conviction if they're trying to get information out of our database. But the second thing is that if a warrant is issued to silent tap the data, that's going to override any memorandum of understanding. And I don't know that we can trust our current administration at the national side to not issue those warrants and not force Flock to monitor that data. And this is important because this data is not being stored on the hard drive of a computer under Commander Herrera's desk. This is data that's being held off-site by a private company, right? It'd be nice if it was under your desk. We could kick the machine and unplug it, right, if we felt like somebody's going to get to it. But we can't do that. And then, so really the only way to prevent the sharing of this data in any manner with folks that can cause harm to the members of our community is to not create the data in the first place. And that's... And the other thing about it is we've all worked with that bonehead coworker whose password is password using the A as an @ sign, right? That somehow got his bank account taken twice, clicks on every link that's sent to him. And while that's probably a little bit lower percentage of officers that take an oath, I can... I can guarantee there's definitely boneheads in that organization too. And with that, we're not talking about 1 or 2 users that have access to the data. We're talking about, in the police department, hundreds of users? How many users, Commander Herrera? So 700-800 users in 6,000 agencies?
Well, that's our police.
Well, no, but yeah, your police, yeah, the Denver police, 700-800 users. But if we take that average among larger departments and smaller departments, that means that we may have 30,000 passwords out there for this system. We're going to hit a bonehead. We're going to hit a bonehead. And they're going to lose the password, or they're going to make a bad decision and share data, even though maybe the mayors between the two cities have signed a memorandum of understanding with each other. So with that, go a little bit farther. Growing technology capabilities. Just also want to talk about additional data that is surveilling us. There's a technology, it's called DFR, or Drone as First Responder. Simply put, what that is it's a box, maybe about the dimensions of this podium that stands about that tall, that you would put in a public place, plug it in, and then when the police are dispatched to a scene, it hovers above the scene and can read license plates and that. Now, on the surface, that actually sounds like a really cool technology. I'd like an officer that's going into the scene to maybe have a little guidance, you know? Anybody that plays a video game knows that sometimes it's kind of good to go to that third-person view. So we can definitely understand why they would want that technology. On the other hand, if you're not willing to be open and transparent about all the technology that we're using, how can we be sure that you're not going to take that drone and fly over a protest and find out all the cars that are around that protest and maybe not go arrest them tomorrow, but just throw the name on a list, right? Start keeping a little bit of a social credit score. Yeah, and while we don't believe that that's the intention of Mayor Johnston or the Denver police, I would question, why would you want to build the infrastructure that makes it possible? In addition, one of the other technologies is a technology called ShotSpotter. And in its basic form, it waits for something that has a sound signature of a gunshot, and it pinpoints where that occurs using microphones throughout the city. However, as people have started exploring the limits of this technology, we're starting to hear about it being turned on just to kind of record for maybe a fight going on, or possibly even conversations. But again, we don't believe that's the current intent for this technology, but why are we putting in infrastructure that makes it possible? And why are we doing it with our tax dollars, right? So with that, we've developed a question on behalf of the East Colfax Neighborhood Association. And that is, Tim, from the mayor's office, what are your concerns about potential city liability from the use of flock technology and the loss of that data to outside sources?
Thank you for the question. For anyone, can everyone hear me? Great, okay. Closer? Okay, great. Okay, stand up? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Councilwoman. Okay, everyone can hear me and see me now. My name is Tim Hoffman. I'm in the mayor's office. I serve as his director of policy. I appreciate the question. I think one of the topics that we've been talking about with council members, I know that this has been a concern that's been brought up a couple of times in some of these RNO meetings, are around some of the potential Fourth Amendment implications around whether or not this would be a violation, this type of data protection. Is that the genesis of the question, or is it something else?
Well, I think there's an open disagreement about whether this is a Fourth Amendment violation. As a neighborhood, we 100% believe it is. The mayor's office... The mayor's office has stated that there's no expectation of privacy once you enter the public right-of-way. And my feeling is that kind of surveillance, it erodes our right to religion, it erodes our right to travel freely, and it erodes our right to explore life without experiencing consequences for every little mistake.
Just a first quick correction. You said that the mayor's office position is that we believe that there is no expectation of privacy when you enter a roadway. Okay. Is that better? You guys can hear me now? Okay. I just want to be very clear that it is not the position of the mayor or the mayor's office that you have no expectation of privacy when you enter a roadway. What he is referring to... What that is referring to...
Let him
Excuse
talk.
me. Excuse me. If folks like invited, council members and people from the mayor's office, can we, if we're trying to engage in a dialogue and conversation, which I'm here to do tonight, I'm here to listen to all of you as well. And a lot of us have been really working really hard trying to address these concerns and these issues. And so if we could just try to have, some respectful dialogue and allow people to speak. You may not agree with what they have to say, and that's fine. We don't have to agree, but I would like to allow people to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gonzalez-Gutierrez. What I was saying is that what the reference is to the legal standard around whether or not there's a Fourth Amendment violation when it comes to these type of surveillance technologies. And what the courts have for decades looked at is whether an individual has a reasonable expectation of privacy in the thing that is being searched. There are courts that have looked at this as it relates to license plate reader systems in other jurisdictions, and some courts have found that yes, it is that you do have a reasonable expectation of privacy of your license plate when you're on a public roadway. There are also many other courts that have looked at it who have found that no, you do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy of your license plate number when you are on a roadway. So as it relates to the first question, that is an unsettled area of law right now. But I think to the larger point around the question of, is this a technology that is tracking everyone in this room around the city right now? I think that there, as we were talking about, there is a fundamental disagreement in that, yes, there are pictures being taken at these 111 locations of the cameras, but they are not being searched by anybody unless your car is suspected of being either stolen or involved in another crime. And so there is a difference between the mass surveillance where everyone is being watched all the time and the data being passively collected. And it is then only looked at, and this is one of the new features that we included as we roll out these new technological features. DPD, as of now, is the only agency in the country who has access to Denver's data. Period, full stop. For now, until there are MOUs negotiated with other local jurisdictions. But as part of the new data system that we are rolling out, when a DPD officer...
Please, stop.
When a DPD officer is going to search for a license plate, there will be an enumerated list of crimes that they will have to select that will then enable them to search for that vehicle. So it is not as though they can type into an open box any reason for why they are doing it. It will be an enumerated list of either Colorado or Denver-based crimes that would then enable them to search for it. So I think, again, there is simply a disagreement over whether or not the passive collection of these license plate images that is then held on this system but is not accessed or looked at by anyone constitutes the mass surveillance that it's being portrayed as, or if it's only when you, or it's not even you, when your vehicle is suspected of being involved in a crime or has been stolen or otherwise, it would then be queried into the system, and if it exists from the last 30 days, then it would pop up into the flock system.
So the question is actually about liability. What response, like, how do you feel about the city having liability for creating this data that could possibly be used against its citizens?
Can you say a little bit more about what you mean by used against the citizens?
Well, let's say that a citizen from the state of Texas was seeking abortion care and coming to Colorado, and their data had been released through Flock, and it was identified that they had come to Colorado to get an abortion. Maybe they get picked up by a bounty hunter, and they get brought back for justice, or the Texas version thereof. Now that person has experienced damage because of data that was collected by the city of Denver. I believe that would cause a great liability for the city.
Yeah, so a couple things. Number one, we have shut off access to every jurisdiction outside of the state of Colorado. That's been the case for several months now. We now have shut off access to every jurisdiction outside of Denver. So a Texas jurisdiction simply does not have access to Denver's data. They cannot get it. Secondly, there are state laws and there are Denver ordinances around whether or not we can comply with either civil immigration enforcement or reproductive health care. When someone is coming, there's a shield law now statewide. And so Flock has set in parameters that there's absolutely, in the state of Colorado, no searching for any sort of terms that have any sort of implication around immigration enforcement, civil immigration enforcement, or reproductive health care. It's just not something that in the current system that we have built in this Denver model.
Okay, yeah, for the sake of time, we'd like to just get a quick response if anybody from City Council. Oh, and thank you, Councilwoman Lewis, for being here. We always appreciate your support for East Colfax. We love you.
All right, thank you all for inviting me here so much and for coming and spending your time. I'm Sarah Parody. I'm one of your council members at large. So a few responses to that. I think it's missing the forest for the trees a little bit to say that essentially now that we've locked out everyone other than Denver police, as of this morning, by the way, which the mayor could have done at any time. But now that we've done that, we're thinking about letting access back in. And John is actually hitting the nail on the head here because in addition to this large searchable database, which officers can access without any kind of reasonable suspicion or warrant. So I do take objection to the mayor's office saying that you have to be suspected of a crime. You only have to be suspected of a crime in the mind of an officer doing a search. There's no legal standard that's applied, and it can be totally investigatory. And I also, and in addition to that, if you meet that kind of legal standard, so if someone in Texas, where abortion is a crime, does get a warrant, and we have created these images. And so then at that point, we may be in a legal situation where we're handing them over, and we're helping people who came here to get reproductive health care be prosecuted for it back home. And I'm not okay with that under any circumstances. I'm just not. The other thing I want to respond to really quickly is I just want to be really clear about how we got on the national network, because the primary presentation today about the way that we're tightening this up so much is we got off this national network in April. We're going to get off the state network. We're going to remove the logins for the 2 FBI officers who we gave logins to through DPD itself, any of which we could have done at any time. But the way we got on the national network was we signed an agreement to get these cameras and to create a searchable database for ourselves. It said nothing about a national network. It said nothing about a state network. And DPD did not know, the mayor's office did not know, certainly council did not know, certainly you all did not know that we were on that national network until city council started asking questions after we had been on it for a year. Flock put us on it without any permission and without telling us. And we've decided that this company is so trustworthy that we can do a little handshake deal with them. I am not okay with it.
Lastly, I need to deliver one clear message to the mayor. Please share this with him on behalf of the citizens of East Colfax. And we're going to say this in a really East Colfax kind of way. Quit doing this behind closed doors and come out and debate this in the public forum, you fucking pussy.
Thank you, John. We're going to welcome up our next presenter, Julian Camera with the American Civil Liberties Union.
Free speech, y'all, am I right? All right, so, my name is Julian. I'm with the ACLU of Colorado. We're a civil rights and civil liberties organization working to protect and expand the civil rights and civil liberties of all people in Colorado, and we're a nationwide organization. We've been around for over 100 years suing the government. This comes at a good time. I think it's very understandable why people are so upset. There's been a number of concerning and conflicting statements coming from the mayor, from Denver Police Department, from the Flock CEO, and other agencies involved in the Flock contract. And so during our coalition's initial investigation into the use of Flock by the city of Denver, we asked repeatedly about Denver's data sharing and if federal law enforcement agencies and agencies outside of Colorado had access to the data of Denver residents without their knowledge or their permission. And we were told repeatedly, no, Denver only shares with agencies in Colorado. When Denver was considering an extension of the Flock contract in April, Denver Police Department told the City Council Safety Committee during presentation that Denver Police, quote, only shares its Flock data with agencies in Colorado. We're continuing to hear that, right? Soon after, Denver Police learned that they were in fact sharing our data on a national network with thousands of law enforcement agencies and an unknown number of searching users within those agencies. Then, without notifying the public or city council members, Denver Police took Denver off the national network quietly on April 16th. And this critical information was not shared with the public or even to city council members until months later. Even Flock's own transparency portal showed that only Colorado agencies could access Denver's data while we were on the national network. So DPD is saying, no, we're not on the national network. Flock's transparency portal is saying Colorado's not on the national network, and this is just blatantly false. So Denver Police was not honest about this, and something they admit they did not realize until community, till city council voiced their concerns in April. This misinformation and change in data access was never publicly corrected to the media, the community, or to council, and Chief Thomas admitted to CityCast on June 9th that Denver has been on the national network. And that was the first time that we actually ever heard anything about the critical error that put like all of everybody's personal information at risk. When it comes to a thing called the audit logs, they're promoted by Flock and Denver Police as key oversight mechanisms to ensure misuse is not happening. However, through our coalition's research, we found that the audit logs were hidden for months, and once they were released after pressure from City Council and our coalition, the audit logs were heavily redacted with critical information missing. In fact, council members requested to see the audit logs as early as April 2nd, and Denver did not release the audit logs until nearly 4 months later on July 23rd, after receiving a ton of records requests from the media. In the audit logs provided by Denver Police, there were millions of searches conducted by law enforcement agencies, and of those millions of searches, we only received 1,402 rows, which showed the reason in which the searcher was doing the search. Those 1,402 rows were filtered by Denver Police to reveal only the searches where ICE or immigration was the stated search reason. And as you can see on the slide, law enforcement from across the country were doing searches for ICE across 6,000 Flock networks nationwide, including Denver's. But the heavy redactions to the audit logs means there was millions of searches that we have no idea what they were for, and Denver Police Department wanted us to believe that the 1,400 rows were only immigration-related searches, and however, later analysis revealed that dozens of additional searches related to Border Patrol and ICE operations had also been redacted. So this is the main form of transparency that Flock markets as their oversight mechanism, and the audit logs presented to us were not even inclusive of all the immigration-related searches, let alone millions of other possibly problematic searches that were entirely redacted. And the dishonesty continues. So on April 3rd, Denver Police Commander Herrera told local news, quote, "We had a concern come up about could any of the Denver data be used for ICE civil violations in violation of Denver Municipal Code? The answer is no," end quote. This was later proven to be happening. On May 14th, Mayor Johnston tells 9 News he fully intends to keep every flock camera up and operating in Denver. Quote, "Could a law enforcement agency use this database to track someone down on an ICE hold and arrest them? No, because the system is not designed to do that," end quote. At this point, Denver police already knew that they had been sharing our data on the national network. And if they had checked the audit logs that had already been requested by our coalition, they would have seen the thousands of searches that had already occurred for ICE on our system. So on August 8th, the Department of Safety confirmed that there are currently 3 FBI employees who have access to DPD's flock system, contrary to repeated claims to the media from the mayor that federal access has been turned off. In a community meeting just a month ago on September 25th in Park Hill, the mayor told residents that Flock only takes photos of license plates that have been reported in a crime. This is blatantly false. According to Flock Safety, their LPR, license plate reader cameras, take pictures of every car that passes, and that's why, as John had mentioned, we have over 2 million vehicles that are documented every month. And to add on to that, as we saw today, the mayor unilaterally is taking action against not just the public, but also to city council members who are there to help support him, right? And so if you remember back in May, Denver City Council voted unanimously not to expand a contract with Flock. The mayor then immediately tells the media he is going to keep the cameras up, with his office saying they have enough funds left in the contract to continue through the end of the year. But on July 7th, Mayor Johnson unilaterally extended the Flock contract for $498,500 through October 30th, 2025. Now keep in mind, the mayor needs to go through city council to pass contracts that exceed $500,000. So he managed to do this with a $500 threshold. Not only did this tremendously undermine the authority of our lovely city council members here, right? But Mayor Johnson didn't give any notice to the public or about his actions. Then on July 8th, Denver Police and Flock filed a permit application to install 4 new Flock cameras across the city. Again, no notification to council. Another attempt to expand the Flock network in Denver with no notice to council or the public. Now, yeah, so this is quite a bit of a theme here. So we're having dishonesty from our mayor, dishonesty from Denver Police, and we're also, getting dishonesty from Flock, the CEO himself. So on July 30th, Flock CEO Garrett Langley gives a media interview saying he would consider a contract with ICE in the future, but says Flock does not have any current contracts with federal immigration enforcement. Then on August 16th, just 2 weeks later, 9 News publishes an article saying that ICE agents can and do access Flock data, despite Flock's own claims that they don't. So additionally, and then recent investigative reporting reveals that both Flock and a Texas sheriff, as Councilmember Parody was mentioning, tried to cover up a story about a Texas law enforcement agent searching across 83,000 cameras nationwide for one woman who had an abortion. This is awful. I can't even think about this. This is one of the most horrendous stories. So both the sheriff's office and Flock Safety have attempted to downplay the search as akin to a search for a missing person, claiming deputies were only looking for the woman to check on her welfare. And that officers found a large amount of blood at the scene, a claim which has now been contradicted by the responding officer's affidavit. And Flock Safety went so far to assert that journalists and advocates covering this story intentionally misrepresented the facts, describing it as misreporting and clickbait driven. Turns out the law enforcement, seeking to criminalize this woman for abortion just blatantly lied about their intentions, and Flock ran an entire PR campaign to try and cover this up. The very company that claims to be providing safety with their technology was so quick to discredit investigative reporting that proved that technology was actually being used to potentially violate protected vulnerable people's rights who are attempting to access safe healthcare. So when it comes to ACLU and our position, as a civil liberties organization who fights constantly for government transparency and accountability to our constitutional rights through our advocacy and legal efforts, these findings, they're extremely concerning. And Flock technology itself, it already raises serious alarm bells about potential Fourth Amendment violations and our protections against unreasonable search and seizures. But then when you add all this lack of transparency and false information being shared by city officials and Flock itself, we have a real problem on our hands. Thankfully, we have some city council members who are taking steps to uncover the true depth of this issue, but we need to have a real conversation about these real and urgent risks to our rights and what elected officials are doing to address these. So I'm going to pass it off to a representative from the Whittier Neighborhood Association, Gerald, to ask us a question to council.
Thank you, Julian. I'm Gerald Hamill with Whittier Neighborhood Association and wanted to address this to council. The mayor's clearly demonstrated executive overreach and an unwillingness to be accountable to the public. What are you prepared to do to intervene?
Okay, hi everybody. Serena, I'm pretty short, so you probably can't see me over here. Hi everyone, Serena Gonzalez Gutierrez. I'm one of the council members at large. I will say that, kind of looking back at when this contract first came to us, and at that time, Councilwoman Parody and her office had brought to light some of these very concerning issues. And at that time, there were many of us who were not in favor of that contract going forward based on the language in the contract, but also just philosophically, the fact of having surveillance in our city with absolutely nothing governing it, right? It was based on policy, operations policy of Denver Police Department, which is fine. But I come from a place of, if we can enact policy as in ordinance, as in laws that govern how we utilize certain technologies, there's always going to be, I think, that philosophical difference of opinion of whether or not we should have this type of mass surveillance technology being utilized in our communities, especially right now with what is at risk with the federal government that we have right now and the people that are very, very vulnerable and unsafe. With that said, the measures that we've taken so far was, one, to bring up the concerns to the mayor's office, to have those conversations, of course. We, met with other community members, partners, 8 other organizations that have folks who are directly impacted by these types of policies, or that can be directly impacted. We gladly joined this surveillance task force that was put forth as the option, right? So, okay, vote no on the contract. We're going to set up this task force so that we can come up with what are the solutions, how can we address the concerns. We haven't gotten there yet. I'm not okay with us continuing to have these cameras in our city operating, not at all, but especially because we have not put in the necessary guardrails to ensure protection of our data. And I get that now we have this, what is before us from the mayor. We were not part of that conversation. And I did ask the mayor directly about that. I said, I'm concerned that we've had this task force that has been meeting now for a couple of months. And we've been meeting for a couple of months, and this has now just come up and popped up, and here is the solution without any consultation. And I was reminded that that is executive authority. And I tell you that because I came into this seat from a place of collaboration. That's how I do all of my work. I don't want to shove something through. I don't want to force people into something that they don't want to do. I want to work with people. I want to have respectful dialogue, and I want to collaborate. And I am not feeling that from our administration. And I'm not, I think the work of the task force still has a lot of work to do. But one thing is, I'm willing to, of course, I will vote no if there is something that comes before us. But I will continue to work on policies that need to be put in place, because regardless if we continue to vote no, or there's a few of us that continue to vote no, if the reality is that this technology is going to continue and exist, any of this type of technology, then it is upon us on City Council and the Mayor's office to protect the people in our city. And I hear a lot of people saying the word citizen, and I want to address that because I don't say citizen, I say the people in our city, the residents of our city. Just because you have the right to vote because you're a citizen doesn't mean you don't deserve protection. So that is what I will commit to, upholding is those values and making sure that we continue to listen to community. I want to make sure that we're talking to people who are directly impacted, those that are closest to the pain. That is who we need to listen to in this moment.
Thank you. Chantel?
Hey, y'all. Well, let's get to that. I'm glad someone said that. Hey, y'all. Councilwoman Chantel Lewis here. Good to see you, everyone. Thanks for being out here. Really appreciate it. Thanks. So I've had a few reflections, especially because we received updates from the mayor's office this morning regarding the flock contract. And someone already spoke about how the mayor's office was able to circumvent council authority and our ability to be able to approve the contract and have oversight over this. And I know you all did some organizing and protesting over the weekend in which you all were calling out kings. And I want to say that it's important for you all to be able to identify the kings and the castles and the cities in which you all live. And I think the mayor is one of those. And I think the same resistance that you all provide to the kings at the federal level, that you should also be providing that same resistance at the local level. Us council members, as council members, we are going to read those contracts and we're going to ask for information. But if the mayor's office is doing this thing through executive order or his authority, there's only so much that we can do. Council members, which we have not done, we can subpoena for information and get folks to show up to give us information. And I know these two are not opposed to that, to have that ability. So we can do that. That's always a card on the table. It's an opportunity for us to vote against contracts as well, if those contracts come to us, if they meet the threshold. If not, then that's a different conversation. And I think it's also important for us to be bringing this information to committees, to our other council members as well, because we understand it, but that does not mean that the moral clarity that we have as council members, that is stretched be with all 13 of our council members. And I think that's really important for you all to understand as well. So that's it, but thank you. Thank you. But if you take nothing else from this conversation, I hope that you remember to put the pressure on the kings and the castles and the cities that you all live in, because this is some king shit, period.
Thank you, Chantal.
All right, I'll just say really quickly, in addition to all of that, which is all right, that I would love a chance to legislate on this. I am one member. We are 3 members of a legislative body. There are other council members who are represented here tonight and who have expressed their feelings to the media, so I don't want to give the implication that there's only 3 of us here because we're the only 3 ones that share these concerns. That is not the case whatsoever. But we would have to reach, and this is the purpose, I thought, of serving on this mayoral task force with all these experts from Denver, the Independent Monitor who's here tonight, and from around the country, such as the Electronic Freedom Foundation, a professor from Georgetown Center on Law and Technology. Great task force. In my mind, the function of that task force is to do the best we can to get to a policy recommendation that the whole council can vote on. Whether or not at the end of the day, I will feel like that's stringent enough, we'll see, but we need to see that process through. So I want to be able to legislate, and if we want something that will get us where we need to be, we've got to have a veto-proof 9 votes for it. So you need to talk to all of your council members, and again, I'm not implying that anyone who's not here tonight is not deeply concerned, because I know many of them are. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Council. To your point, Councilwoman Lewis, we do have something to address that at the end, so stick around to address the rest of the City Council that wasn't able to make it here tonight. But with that, we have our last presentation for tonight, and I'd like to welcome up Kathy Sandoval with the Villa Park Neighborhood Association.
Okay, good. It's so good to see all of you here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being present. Thank you for sharing your passion and concerns about flock cameras, because I also share this concern. I was one of those neighbors, so I live in Villa Park. I don't know if anybody knows where Villa Park is. Yeah? Okay. We're in the western part of the city, north of 6th Avenue between Federal and Sheridan. We're part of the inverted L, if you kind of know what that means. And so we also got a notice from Dottie about this flock camera. I've lived in Villa Park most of my life. I'm on the board of the Villa Park Neighborhood Association. And so it's one of those things that often we get notices. We get notices of things going on in the community. And so we got this notice about the flock camera being located at 6th and Perry. And we wouldn't have known about it because this one had to be notified because it was in the encroachment of the right-of-way. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known about it. Because in fact, what we found out shortly thereafter is that there already was a flock camera about 100 yards to the north of this particular location. So we looked it over. It had very vagueness about why it was needed, just a generic safety for the community. Didn't give any details of it. But as you dig deeper, you can certainly see there's more to this story. So we sent it out in our e-newsletter saying, what do you know about flocks? Let us know what your opinion is about flock cameras. We described what it was that they stated in their application, that it was just for general safety, and you'll be monitoring license plates. So we saw that go out, and we heard from our neighborhood, and it said, no way do we want surveillance cameras in our neighborhood. And we filed our complaint back to Dottie. We have not heard back from them. We've expressed our concern because it was a real feeling of harm being created. We have already seen ICE in our neighborhoods. We've seen staging at Paco Sanchez Park, going to houses. We had our August meeting. We had a Know Your Rights because we knew residents were feeling the pressure of this current administration and of ICE impact in our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is largely Latino and Chicano, although it is thoroughly being gentrified as we speak, and we still are there. So at that meeting, we did a Know Your Rights so that we could get that information out to the community so they knew how to protect themselves from ICE. We also heard from Councilwoman Parati about what she had learned as her exploration of what flock is really doing. And it became very clear to us that there is so much lack of transparency with this whole process that we don't know until we get more information. They shared with us a map of all the different flock camera locations in Council District 3. if you look at the whole city, it seems to be almost disproportional. We see all this occurring, it seems like to us, and what we also wrote in our letter, that it's profiling brown and black communities. And it's feeling like it's being racially profiled. And we're seeing that the transparency is very poor and that things are happening with it. So as Julian mentioned, Phlox has been used for abortion seekers, serving, the interests of law enforcement who want to track or criminalize people, for reproductive health care. We talked about the Texas sheriff who was searching 83,000 cameras nationwide. And yes, this happened maybe before that Denver is saying, oh, we're not on a national network. But the track record that you have does not build trust. The track record you have is building much more a sense of uncertainty and betrayal. So I'm here today to say that this is an invasive surveillance practice. It's also violating civil liberties, women, immigrants, and vulnerable Americans. And the very technology that it was supposed to help, supposed to provide safety and protect our personal information from being used, and not to be used against immigration enforcement, criminalize abortion seekers, or our community. It's going against our values of what we stand for and what we have also written in law. So our laws are being violated with this technology. And it may look pretty innocuous and hard to see because it's all painted green. And you do need to know what your rights are because ICE is here. And we see that harm has been created in many different ways, and we don't know who is going to be really using it because we don't have a task force that really is getting to a good look at what's going on or creating guardrails of how this technology is going to be used so that we can all sort of know what is happening. So in Villa Park, we see this, like I said, firsthand, how it's escalating deportation campaigns and threatening the safety and well-being of our neighbors. And using our public funds to resource this campaign is wrong. Flock is a technology that's not even proven to be effective. We're saying that the DPD statistics saying they've recovered 4% of the stolen vehicles by using the Flock pilot in their first pilot year. But when you think about that and you look at how many trackings that have gone on per month, we said 2 million vehicles per month. So if you do the math, really that means that's only 0.001% of all those vehicles and people tracked by Flock that were charged with a crime. The vast majority of Flock's dangerous surveillance is on our innocent neighbors. And for this reason, Flock technology is violating our privacy, right to privacy. The Fourth Amendment protects unreasonable searches and seizures by the government, and Flock systems capture images of every vehicle passing its cameras. It's got me thinking, I don't even want to go buy that camera anymore. I'm going to take another route. So in other words, Flock creates an indiscriminate mass surveillance apparatus and does not distinguish between suspects or the general public. We had a retired veteran in Virginia who was bringing a lawsuit against Flock because he was tracking how many times he was tracked in his town. And he found out he was tracked 526 times in 5 months by a Flock camera. He's suing the city on the grounds that our safety, our laws are meant to protect us, and they're not doing that. So community members have been advocating and sounding alarm for this since April, but our concerns are being ignored by Mayor Johnson. With the city making all these major cuts, having another week long about the budget, having to get a hearing from the community about where we should spend our money, and we're shutting libraries, or reducing youth programs, or we're cutting emergency rental assistance, or we're laying off hundreds of city workers. We're also concerned about the harm done to community when our city dollars are spent on AI-powered mass surveillance program. Oops. Okay. So I just want to finish up here and basically say, flock technology does far more harm than good for the people of Denver. It is beyond time, Mayor Johnson, to listen to our concerns and put the well-being of Denverites above the profit motives of mass surveillance corporations. And so we have a council question for you. Flock technology targets the most vulnerable in our community. It likely violates state law and our civil liberties. Who is this technology actually serving, and what safety does this provide?
All right. I guess I have two answers to that question. I think who the technology is actually serving is the CEO of Flock Safety. This man started this company in 2017 because in his wealthy neighborhood of Atlanta, they were seeing car break-ins, and that became a calling for him. So he started building these cameras himself, selling them. They were originally for neighborhoods who wanted to do a neighborhood watch kind of thing. This is, think about Ahmaud Arbery running through a neighborhood of Atlanta. I don't know the geography of Atlanta. I don't know where these two neighborhoods are, but it puts me in mind of that. So he has made so much money off of these systems, and they have proliferated so quickly. One of the things that I want people to understand is this is not our grandparents' mass surveillance technology. This is so different. If these were just cameras that were taking photos of all of our plates and putting them in some database without the AI that has the capacity to read the plates, recognize the vehicles, and be searchable, that would still have horrified people in the 1960s. And that is so far from what we have here. Not only can this tech recognize your car by whose car has a dent? Mine has a dent. Yes. Flock can read the unique contours of that dent, and the police can search for your car by your dent. It can read bumper stickers. It can, what the CEO told me when he sat across from me in my office is, whatever your eyes can see, Flock can see. That is terrifying. And so I think that's one thing, is it's not just this vast trove of images, it's the ability to just, boom, search them like that, right? So it's serving him because, and what he's really selling is the aggregation of this data. That is the value of these companies. That's why they're trying to do deals with Ring, deals with dash cams. The value of this company is in its data. And in our contract with Flock, that's still in effect thanks to these two unilateral extensions, there is a clause that says that Flock can use aggregated data that is supposedly stripped of its individual characteristics. So no one can trace it back to you particularly, but they can sell that data, and have sold that data, I am certain, to train other AI. And so we're using this tool to train everybody else's tools to track us, to say, what are the habits of drivers? What are the habits of drivers with different kinds of cars? What are the habits of drivers from different neighborhoods? Do we want corporations and governments around the country to be able to buy data to train AI to figure that out when Donald Trump is president of the United States? No. Past repressive regimes did not have access to anything like this. They went door to door to find their victims in Rwanda, in Bosnia, in Nazi Germany. I am legitimately, absolutely terrified by the state of AI surveillance, and it has taken off over like a 2-year period. So if you weren't paying attention, this was happening. Perhaps your license plates, and if you drive in the city, your plates are in this database. They supposedly delete it every 30 days. We have no way of verifying that. But even if they do, your plates have been in this database at one time or another if you drive in this city. So your plates, your movements around the city have been used to train AI on how people move around Denver. So who else is it serving? What safety does it provide? I don't think it does, but who is it serving? It is also serving I guess the smaller and smaller circle of people who are absolutely convinced that they never have to fear their government, not because of a mistake, not because of their politics, not because they got reproductive health care, not because they're trans, not because they're an immigrant, not because they stood up for immigrants, not because they're a democratic socialist elected official, not because they tried to prosecute Donald Trump. That circle, if you are in that circle, perhaps this technology is serving you. That circle is shrinking every day. Thank you.
Check, check, check. Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Give it up for Kathy one more time. Okay. We are almost at our Q&A portion, but we just had a couple questions that we wanted to ask towards the mayor's office and DPD. So I'd like to welcome back up Katie to ask a couple of questions.
All right, 2 questions here, and then we'll get to all your questions. I'm sure you have lots of questions. The first one, pretty simple. Why didn't the mayor engage in a public process for this flock extension contract?
Thank you. I would respectfully disagree with the idea that the mayor did not engage in a public process as it relates to this contract extension. Over the last several months, the mayor, the administration, the police department has heard from the community. We've heard from council members. We've been working with the surveillance task force, and we have constantly been making improvements to the flock surveillance system that we have here in Denver. That is why, with this new Denver model that we rolled out today, we have shut off access not just to jurisdictions outside of the state, but also to all jurisdictions inside of the state. That is why we have cut off access to all federal agents, Denver or otherwise, who are here on local task forces or regional task forces, and federal agencies, period, full stop. That is why we have instituted a prescriptive drop-down menu where officers within DPD will have to select this very specific and enumerated crimes.
Hey guys, I've learned something tonight by listening to Mr. Huffman, so let's keep listening.
Yeah, I guess just one follow-up to that question is, what have you been hearing from community? Because I guess, what do you guys want? So I am curious. I am curious just to understand, if you have community who's been yelling about turning, these cameras off, why then is the mayor going behind closed doors and making an agreement with a CEO of a private company without any true public input? Because you hear the public input. And you don't have to answer that if you don't want. I just wonder.
And look, this is clearly a room of people who have very strong opinions about this surveillance technology and pretty unanimously oppose it. That's fine. I was at, and several other members of the mayor's office were at a town hall and a community event last night where there were any number of people in that room who are supportive of the flock system. So to answer part of the question and then to address the previous question that was posed to Councilwoman Parody, the flock system has directly led to the recovery of 39 firearms. It has led to the recovery of... It has...
Let's let him speak. Let's let him speak, and then you all can ask your questions as well.
It has led to the recovery of over 250 stolen motor vehicles. You all can comment on the percentage of the overall stolen motor vehicles in the city, but those are 250 vehicles that were returned to the victim of that crime, at least in part because of the system. It has led directly to, with the evidence provided, 9 arrests of homicide victims, of suspects in those cases, and I believe it's 28 non-fatal shootings have been solved in whole or part because of some of the information provided by the flock system. So it does have a very real impact on public safety in the city.
Yeah, I just definitely want to reiterate that 250 cars is 4% of all recovered stolen vehicles in Denver, and anything with a 4% success rate, I don't find that to be terribly successful technology. I just, I think it's fair. And I'm going to ask a follow-up question. I think that leads us to a really interesting sort of query that a lot of people have been dealing with, is that you all are able to see what you're using this, we hope you're auditing yourselves, to see what you're using this technology to do, right? So you can comb through and find all of the so-called murders or things that, maybe you've typed in a license plate in to find. It's really difficult for the public. I wonder, this is maybe a tangent to this question, but to understand where did those 1,400 searches for ICE lead us? We don't know, who has used Flock to pick people up. Has that been investigated by the mayor's office?
Yeah, and I appreciate the question, because I do think that there is a lot of confusion around this point. Those 1,400 searches that were taken were when we were still part of that national lookup system. So the vast majority, if not all of those 1,400 searches, were another jurisdiction, almost always out of state, who were essentially doing a Google search of all of the Flock systems nationwide. It is not something that the Flock system has the ability to tell us whether or not any of those 1,400 were positively responsive in Denver.
Well, you're not able to audit that information? You can't see what license plate have been searched in the system for immigration enforcement and then also cross-reference that with who's been detained? Has that been investigated?
There is no evidence to suggest that any of those 1,400 led to a positive hit in Denver of a license plate.
Have you investigated that?
Yes.
Can you make that information public?
I'm sure we'll figure out the best way to try to figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, I want to give a little context for those answers. Nothing that Tim said was incorrect, but the 1,400 searches that were done were indeed searches on the national network. Ooh, spooky. Someone was trying to rest their backs who doesn't have a chair, probably. But people drive around this country. So yes, those were done primarily by out-of-state jurisdictions. We have absolutely no way of knowing if that was someone, and keep in mind, this is something where you're trying to track someone who's driving. We know that, a college student from Utah who was driving through Colorado was picked up. People turn to these plate readers when someone is on the move. We have absolutely no way of knowing if there were any hits in Denver of someone who was driving around. Absolutely true that most of the searches were not done by Colorado agencies. Those 1,400 searches were also only searches where the person chose to type in immigration or ICE in the free-form box. So what we learned in Washington, a study came out, an academic study from the University of Washington yesterday, that looked into what researchers were able to figure out through open records and other things. And by the way, it's true that we can't validate what results any of those searches got. That's not saved as part of the audit. The audit says what searches were done. We have no idea what the hits were. We can never go back and find that in time. So that's gone. So we don't know. We just don't know. And so when the mayor says there's no evidence, it's because it's unknowable, not because it didn't necessarily happen. We can't conclude that it didn't happen. It would be irresponsible to conclude that it never happened. In addition to that, we know that an ATF agent who was working with Loveland Police was given a login by them, and searches were done after we left the national network for ICE or immigration by that ATF agent. We've never been able to figure out why that ATF agent, right in Loveland, was searching for ICE or immigration, and he had come straight from D.C. to investigate vandalism at Tesla dealerships. So and then finally, in Washington State, they sort of looked into this. Some kind of Open Records Act request a while back discovered that there was a listserv, so an email listserv as opposed to just calling your buddy, of law enforcement all around the state of Washington. And so ICE agents would get on that email listserv and ask for flock searches from whatever cop happened to pick it up. And that happened many, many times. And they did not typically put the word ICE or immigration into that search. And so the only reason that the public knows about it is it was by email, not by phone. And Washington has the exact same laws that Colorado does that says that you're not supposed to cooperate with ICE. And officers are still doing that because these are these law enforcement relationships. They work with each other. It is what it is. So that was happening in Washington on an email listserv that had many people on it, totally in the open, during the time that Washington's law was in place. And the audits would never reveal that because the searches were not for immigration. You look at these searches and it's like ASDF, law enforcement, crime, suspect, person of interest, we're going to change that to a drop-down menu, which is being described as this like amazing thing that Denver negotiated. That was offered by Flock back when I had my first little tutorial thing with them last April. They've been working on this. A software engineer from the company also called me. This is a feature they've been meaning to roll out. This isn't like a win for Denver. And so yes, now you can you can type in the plate you're searching for, you can type in vehicle characteristics. We're still not super clear on whether you can type in other things from the surroundings that aren't characteristics of a vehicle, like bicycle, traffic light, whatever. The CEO did tell me when he sat in my office that he realized that he should probably block searches for naked women. So he's blocked that. So you can't search for that. But I don't know what else you can search for, honestly, because it's an algorithm. It learns. So, however, now in the second box where you have to put the reason for the search, where we were getting the random little codes of characters and whatnot, you will have to select a crime. But again, you don't have to have any kind of warrant, any kind of reasonable suspicion. And so in your mind, whatever crime you think you're investigating someone for, and keep in mind, in Texas, abortion is a crime, you choose something from a drop-down and you do the search. That is not that hard to work around. And I am sorry, but there is no way. What did you say? We're going to encounter a few knuckleheads or something like this. Anyway, that was a nice way of putting it. But yeah, that's just a little bit more context about those searches. It's correct that most of them were done out of state. It is not correct that we could ever know whether the person they were looking for happened to be driving through Denver.
Okay. Before we move into our Q&A, I just want to ask John real quick. John was actually at the Registered Neighborhood Organization meeting that was referenced, so I was wondering if you could share very quickly about how that went.
Yes, there was a Registered Neighborhood Organization meeting on Monday. We joke that it's the first annual quarterly meeting because we were told they were going to be quarterly and this was the first one, so please continue it. We do like that input with the mayor. However, at the meeting, there were over 100 RNOs, and during the question and answer session, the 10-minute long question and answer session, one RNO was against Flock and asked a question about it, and then the only RNO that was in support of Flock, and they were talking about afterward, was the Downtown Denver Partnership. So we'll name names.
Yep. Okay, I promise I wasn't lying. There is time for questions. We're going to take a few questions at a time. So, hold on. We're going to take a few questions at a time. When you ask your question, please address it to either a member of the council or any member of the council, or please address it to the mayor's office or DPD. So, let me just get a few show of hands. I see 1, 2, and then 3. Let's start first right here, and then please introduce your name.
Thank you. My name is Fred Beck. You can play back the tape to see where I'm from. I spent a lot of time on Nextdoor today so that you don't have to. And it seems that the most common misconception in support of Flock is that people believe that it's being used for traffic enforcement. They really want a lot of speed cameras and things like that. And frankly, I kind of want people to slow down too. But there's a lot of people who think that this is a good idea because it's for speed enforcement and things along those lines. Could anybody clarify if that is true, as I believe it is not?
Let's take a response. Does anyone want to respond to that one?
Would you like a council?
And then can you just restate your question very briefly, please? Thank you.
Is Flock being used for speed enforcement or any other traffic violations?
I'll take that. My name's Jake Carrera from DPD. The answer is no. It's not connected to speeding cameras. It's not connected to any other moving right-of-way or other vehicle maintenance equipment issues.
Okay, and then I saw someone on this side, right here.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lehman, and I also want to add in this dystopia gets even worse because the power that is needed to power the AI is the data centers that are currently being they're currently being built all over the city. One is in GES, which is a historically industrially polluted area, and the water quality and also the energy that it takes to drive these is astronomical. The data centers aren't so that you can have more pictures on your storage. The data centers are for this. And so I think that we need to really think about like who's going to benefit from this. Definitely not us. I want more parks. I want more sidewalks. I want good things for my kids. I don't need this. Thanks.
Question. Hi, my name is Erica. I'm from the Westwood neighborhood. I have a question for you, sir. How secure is your network? I am someone who is very close to the information security community, and one thing I can absolutely tell you is no network is 100% secure. Every network has vulnerabilities, and if you find someone who gets into this network and downloads everybody's information, we're all screwed. The second part of my question is, what are you going to do for people who use technology like this to stalk other people? How are you going to protect people who have access to the law enforcement database who have decided to stalk another human being?
Yeah, thank you for the questions. And there are two parts, right? The first is what are we doing around the data storage and the security, right? And I agree with you that there is no data system in the world that is 100% secure, right? UC Health has massive amounts of records that any number of people could access or hack into. That is a very large system as well. We are and have been working with Flock to make sure that they are compliant with, and it sounds like you would be more familiar with all of these certifications, both nation and international, to make sure that they are compliant with all of those different things as it relates to data security and storage. And then part of what we are working on negotiating with Flock is also a point in the contract that would hold Flock financially liable for any breach of the system that would then allow for access to Denver's data, or any unauthorized leak or providing of information of Denver data. We're currently working on negotiating, but it would be a $100,000 fine for every breach of the system.
Can I ask just a clarifying question? So how would you all know if there was a breach of the contract? Would Flock have to volunteer that information to you, or how would you know?
I mean, there's any number of hypotheticals where a breach it's either leaked publicly, or we hear it from Flock, or we find out about it ourselves.
How would you find about it yourself? Like, what is the auditing process? Like, what are the safeguards?
Yeah, so that's part of the monthly auditing that we're doing to make sure that currently we're checking to make sure that both the comprehensive audit of the system and then the spot checks. And then one of the things that we've been working with the company to roll out, and this is directly to the second part of your question, is working to make sure that there is some more proactive auditing and identifying of irregular behavior within the system. So if a license plate was being searched by an officer numerous times off hours, that would be something that would be flagged so that in more real time you could query that irregular type of behavior. There is any number of technologies with Netflix, right, where if multiple users are logging in to the same account, from different geographical locations. It'll shut down the access. We're working with Flock to make sure that those kind of things are built in as well. But to directly address your question, if there are improper breaches of the system, if a DPD officer or an officer in another jurisdiction was using this system to stalk an ex-girlfriend or to otherwise violate local or state law, we would refer those folks for prosecution at the local and state level. Period. Full stop.
Okay, we're gonna go for some more questions, and we'll work our way towards the back. So don't worry, we're coming to you.
My name is it on? Megan Osborne from East Colfax neighborhood. I'd like to direct this to DPD, the mayor's office, in that order, with space for a fact check by city council afterwards. I'd like to talk about hot lists. I brought this question to you 2 months ago. I didn't like the answer I got then. I'm hoping we can get a little more specific today. So looking at Denver Transparency Portal, as of today, there's been 96,000 hits on the Denver hot list. Denver hot list, or hot list, for those who don't know, is basically a list where any license plate can get put on it. I see this as one of the least discussed and most concerning areas of due process concern. Where are the license plates on the Denver hot list being curated? What is the data hygiene practice? And where in the hell are these 96,000 vehicles inside of Denver walls? Who are they? Monthly.
Okay, so the hot list is maintained by two sources and has been for about 40 years. So there's the Colorado Crime Information Center, which is owned and operated by the state of Colorado, and so that's CCIC, and then there's NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center that's been operated by the FBI. So hot lists are populated whenever a jurisdiction has reason to enter a vehicle for a variety of reasons. It could be everything from terrorist watch list to missing persons. And then within that continuum, DPD has limited the hot list activation as it relates to Flock to stolen cars, missing people. The number one hot list is stolen license plates. So it's filtered through the system that's been the same since I started 18 years ago, far longer than that. To answer your second question, the 96,000 hot list hits would mean that the 111 cameras in a rotating 30 days, because after the 31st day we'd lose everything from that day. That refers to there's that many vehicles driving through that would have a hot list activation, meaning it was stolen, it's involved in like a hit and run, right? We have a hit and run vehicle, we know the license plate, we put it in. It has to be linked to a specific license plate for it to populate in NCIC or CCIC. We couldn't put in a blue Ford Focus. It has to have a license plate. So there's that many license plates that have been flagged by the system in Lakewood that says that there's a reason for this vehicle to be looked for. So NCIC and CCIC are large operations with full-time. There's a lot of nuance here. So there's a difference between a vehicle wanted for murder and someone who reported a vehicle missing, right? Because it's like my loved one hasn't checked in and we're missing them, and here's their license plate. That's a different legal standard procedure for a street patrol officer than a vehicle wanted for murder. So for me to generate a hot list for your specific vehicle, DPD procedures are, I have to go through our information bureau to verify that there's grounds for putting in a wanted vehicle that has to pass municipal, it has to generate a warrant, right? I have to put a warrant out for your vehicle. Otherwise, it's not going to rise to the level of a wanted vehicle. There could be a reason to locate vehicle. There's different there's different layers within NCIC and CCIC.
Does anybody from council want to respond? Okay.
All right, again, for a little bit of context, the hot list issue is really confusing. I've been trying to get to the bottom of this. I've not gotten great answers. But basically what I understand is that if you think about the national list, so this is a list the FBI keeps, and it's supposed to be people that are wanted for certain categories of crimes that are maybe more serious or more mobile. You can correct me if I'm describing the list wrong. And it gets pushed out to law enforcement around the country. And now it gets pushed out to Flock. And so then what happens is if you're an officer in your car and one of the cameras pings a plate that's on that particular list, and I think there are other hot lists, but I'm just talking about that one, then you will get a little alert like, hey, go to this intersection, this person who's wanted for this thing may be right there. In the spring, NPR reported that hundreds of thousands of plates of people who were wanted only for civil immigration violations had been uploaded into NCIS. So, and again, I don't know, I've never seen any reporting since then. I don't know where the reporter got that information. We are operating in the dark to such an extent I cannot begin to convey to you. I didn't know until tonight that there were 700 or 800 users in Denver. I've asked that question since spring. So that's really concerning to me, though, because presumably if a Denver officer is the one who gets that little ping, hopefully they'll follow state and city law, and if it says the person's wanted for civil immigration, they'll ignore the alert. But if one of these FBI officers who has been instructed to spend most of their time on immigration enforcement and who has a Denver login, as though they are a Denver police officer until today, was the one driving past the camera and got that alert, they would probably call ICE because that's what they're supposed to do, and they're chain of command people. So there's a lot there too, and Megan, I wish I understood it as well. Thank you for the question.
Okay, we're going to take a few more. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi. I'm Ani Ray Briggs from East Colfax. I am really curious about separation of, this technology from the federal government. By all means, within current conversations right now in the United States, it's not unlikely that within the next year I'm going to be labeled a terrorist for being transgender, for being anti-Israel, for being a protester. All these things are things that could very much put me on a watch list. What's protecting me as a citizen of Colorado having this information be sold about me?
Who would you like to respond to that question?
Mr. Mayor Boy.
We have shut off access to all federal agencies and all federal agents. So as it relates to the Flock system, none of those federal agents or agencies would be able to access any relevant license plate reader data regarding your movements in this city for any reason, period, full stop.
Isn't that what Flock said before?
Okay, we're going to go to one more question in the back.
This is a question for Mr. Mayor Boy. Sorry, sir, what is your name? Not in like a scary doxy way.
Sorry, could you
nice
hold the mic up? Thank you.
Hello.
Appreciate it.
Testing.
My name's Tim.
Ted?
Tim.
I'm August. This is more of a comment than a question. But there is a question at the end. And I know that we've talked about a lot of things, autonomy, sovereignty, data privacy. But I was hoping that we could talk about something that you and your boss actually care about, which is his re-election prospects. And I just was kind of thinking about my role coming here tonight. I would describe myself as a normie Democrat, like someone who votes blue no matter who, someone who would probably vote for Mike Johnson, 9 times out of 10, until this stuff comes up. Because I think that all of us understand at some level that, what makes us most upset with our political leaders is when we feel disrespected by them. And we live in a political moment that has been brought about, the Trump administration has been brought about by a bunch of Americans feeling like chumps, feeling lied to, feeling disrespected by their leaders. And so Mike Johnson has a lot of things in his, going for him. He's an entrepreneur. He's innovative. He's got big, vibrant ideas. But when you piss people off, you run the risk of making people forget those things. Because voters, all of us here, they might, as well as you're able to sort of wordsmith the nature of the Fourth Amendment or, tell us how every little detail of each of our objections is wrong, people don't remember what you say. They remember how you make them feel. And right now, I think a lot of people in this room feel disrespected by the mayor. Because he escaped oversight, right? We have democratic checks and balances in this country for a reason. And he flouted those checks and balances. He listened to the voice of the people, the elected representatives of the people of the city, and he ignored them. And personally, and I think I speak for many of us here, that's upsetting to me. It makes me think about my vote more than I would have before. I think you and I are probably quite similar. I read the Times, I donate to NPR, I sit on my couch and watch Netflix, and this is the first time that I've considered not voting for the Democrat on the ballot. And so I did say I would end with a question. I guess my question is, given the mayor's sliding poll numbers, which were recently reported, do you worry that the safety and security vote might fall relative to the "we're pissed off that you lied to us" vote?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And I would obviously disagree with the characterization that the mayor has lied to you or anyone. You were at one point talking about some of the shared values that you think you and I probably share, that the mayor certainly shares. And I think it's important for folks to remember that it wasn't that long ago that we were having, on a daily basis, thousands of newcomers arriving in Denver every single day. During the winter, in the cold, without any of the proper supplies, right? And it was this community and Mayor Johnston and his administration who found places for those people to go. It was DPD officers who protected those newcomer shelters, including when people showed up and were planning to harm some of those newcomers. A police officer was shot 3 times. So I hear and appreciate the frustration that you have expressed. I obviously hear the frustration in this room, but I do want to just level set back to, at some level, there are going to be disagreements on the margins here. There is no one in the mayor's administration, the mayor especially, who wants ICE rounding up our most vulnerable citizens, or residents, excuse me. There is no one in the mayor's administration, the mayor especially, who wants a woman who comes here from Texas for reproductive health care to then have that action be prosecuted back in the state of Texas. So that is why we have instituted all of these new safety measures to make sure that those things don't happen.
Okay. We're going to go to one last person. Mike Runner, where are you at?
Not me. My question is at the end. First, I just wanted to say thank you very much to everybody for showing up today. A lot of people say, I don't know if I'm going to say the right thing. What if somebody's mad at me? What if somebody doesn't like me? What if I come off as weird? And maybe it's just the New York City in me, but what I would say is fuck them. Thank you very much for coming out and speaking. I really appreciate it. Now, one of the questions that I would have regarding all this, I've been thinking about this a lot since the last town hall meeting that I went to was in Vidor, Texas, which, if you Google it, is kind of the opposite of this room. And it was very interesting. There were two live streams going on at the exact same time. One of them was from the Democratic Socialists of America, going over why ALPR cameras are bad. The other was me recording a woman who is from South America talking about how socialism is bad and how you do not want that type of surveillance in your city or in your state. And the question that arose, the more that I talked to people across the country from every single different area, is if none of you want this, and the people that vote the opposite of you also don't want this, then why are you still forced to pay for it? And why are they still there? And because the people who vote like you don't want this, the people who vote the opposite of you don't want this, it's the people who have power over you that want it. And when you start asking that question, I think you start to get some different results. Thank you very much for coming out, everybody.
All right. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm sorry we didn't have more time for questions, but just to be respectful of the venue, we are going to wrap up. Thank you to all the hosts of this event, all the organizations, for Geotech for hosting us. But I want to leave on a very important note. Please don't leave yet. If you're moving, please wait. This is really important. There are a lot of people in this room, but there's even more people that are not in this room. And as Councilwoman Lewis said earlier, it is so important that every single council member in the city of Denver hear the message that was said today. And so we have an action for you. You can scan this QR code. It's going to take you to a draft letter. And when you scan it, you can enter your information. It'll send a message to the mayor and to all of city council. Sorry for my big head. Hurry up. Okay. You can scan that and it'll send a message to the city council and the mayor. There's also QR codes on the table as you leave. And it's going to tell them what was resounding here in this room, that we need to turn Flock off. The only way we are going to secure our safety is not by another half measure, and another half measure. It's by turning off those damn cameras. Turn Flock off!
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 Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. Have a good night.
Oh, crap. Wow. That's professional. God damn. I can't take that so much. No worries. I'm going to be here for a while. Pleasure. Looks like the city's... Oh, pleasure. How are you? Good to meet you. Thank you. Pleasure. Sorry, my hand is sweaty. Oh, yes. There'll be more. Pleasure. Sorry, my hand is sweaty.
And I also try to teach anyone who asks me a question about it, like the customer service. I always make sure not only to explain how the thing works, but help them work through it, and I try to help them repair it if it ever breaks.
That's awesome. Would you happen to know why my microphone transmitters only don't work when she's the one using them? As an RF engineer, is there an engineering answer to this?
RF is black magic, that's why. Yeah.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you. That's awesome. Hey, pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out.
Appreciate it. Thank you. You want a clipping?
Absolutely. I have.
Take a picture.
Yeah. What the hell? Thank you. Let's put them together. Make them strong. That's it. Hey, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I loved the Clippy video and everything, and it really captured this feeling that I have of like everything just keeps getting worse, and it makes you feel really hopeless. It's like, oh, well, what can I do? You know, I read the news every day. Everything sucks. You know, Netflix is getting worse. Oh, I need to, you know, there's...
Yeah, you know, you're not going to... They have safeguards so that two people can't log into an account at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I never...
You know,
man,
there's
that man's never
to
used...
make sure that Peter Thiel's slimy tentacles...
That man's never used a VPN in his life.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for this. It really helps to be able to feel like there maybe is something you can do, or at least you're not the only one who feels this way, that everything just keeps getting worse, and maybe hope that somehow it could get better if enough people come together and say, hey, this isn't what we want.
Thank you for coming out, my
Yeah,
friend.
thank you.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you for coming out. I'm a big fan. I love listening to you talk.
Awesome.
Makes you feel heard.
Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it as well. I've been kind of watching you since, I think, like, maybe 2011. I don't know. I just remember watching teardown videos of old MacBooks and you cursing your way through it.
That's the way to work on Apple products.
That's how I work on everything.
And it didn't even work.
And, well, I keep finding Apple products in alleys, and I keep fixing them up now, and we're getting there. So I really enjoy doing that.
Thank you
I
so
really,
much.
really appreciate your work. But thank you.
Hi.
Hello. Pleasure to meet you. Sorry, my hand is sweaty.
Thank you so much for helping organize this. Two of us would not be here if it wasn't for your activism on YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah, we run a club on our college campus. We help people repair things, install
No way.
things, move away from all that.
Cool.
We actually use some leaked Apple schematics as our poster background.
You know who also leaks Apple schematics now? Brendan Carr at the FCC.
Okay, that's good.
I'm sure it was intentional. There's never been incompetence.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah, thanks for lowering the barrier to entry on those stuff. Just organizing it, I think, is very important and helpful because, I
Thank
wouldn't...
you. Yeah, the next project is going to be a website where you can input an email and a zip code, and it will automatically email you anytime one of these things comes up in your area. I'm working with this one company that tracks over 12,000 municipalities around the country. It's like 30,000 a year, which is a kick in the nuts. But once that's done, then we'll have a site where you can just log in. There'll be moderators that go through the things that are flagged, and whether you're in Custer, South Dakota, or New York City, it'll tell you anytime one of these things comes up.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
people
I
can
wouldn't
show
have
up.
known about this if it wasn't for the video, so...
There is a ton that I probably don't know about right now, because how the hell am I going to search 18,000 different websites all at once?
exactly.
But it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Sorry for the sweaty hand. I fucked up. Oh, wow, thank you.
Incredible mustache, by the way. Like, actually impeccable.
Thank you. Sorry for the sweaty hand. Thank you. Hello.
What is mustache?
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to express my appreciation for you spotlighting this issue and coming to Denver and spending your time doing it, because without you, I wouldn't have even really known about the flock camera issue. I first started following you about the right to repair, which is extremely important to me. That's sort of my whole thing. I think we're a kindred spirit there. And I appreciate all of your work that you do just for the greater good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Thank you
What's
so
your
much
name?
for making this aware. No worries. Levi. I got into computer repair because of you, and I appreciate it. And thank you for making this issue aware to me, because I live 3.5 hours from here and would have
That's
had
a long freaking trip.
no
I appreciate
idea
you came this far.
without your spotlight. So thank you for all your
Do you
work.
live in
and
Colorado or elsewhere?
Yeah, I'm just on the western slope there.
Okay.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, appreciate all your effort. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Ross.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm
Sorry,
doing
man,
well. Yeah, no. Like me and my friend were college students, and I just wanted to say thank you. Because I felt just for a long time, it's like you don't feel like you can do anything, like you can help, that you can make a difference. But like seeing this here, watching this, it just makes me realize that I can do something. I can help. That I can, I can have an impact. And thank you for helping me realize that. Yeah.
Most people don't realize that the first way, the first person I ever got to co-sponsor a right to repair bill was showing up, I think, in shorts and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And the guy said something along the lines like, he was saying that the Apple lobbyists were saying that when I fix a MacBook and I replace a component, I'm actually turning a MacBook into a PC, then misrepresenting it as a MacBook to my customers, which is fraud. And I asked him, like, so if I changed the tires in your car from Goodyear to Michelin, is it like not an F-150? Did I commit fraud? Like, no. I'm like, why the fuck you believe this shit? It is. Nobody else was here to tell me otherwise. And then he starts ignoring me and just writing on paper and looking for stuff. And I traveled 2 hours to come here. What are you doing? He's like, I'm co-sponsoring your bill, asshole. And he puts it on the desk with his signature on it. And I'm like, it was that easy.
Yeah.
And that was what kind of got me hooked. Like, the thing is, nobody shows up because they think if they show up, there's no point. Because the reason nothing ever happens is because nobody actually shows up to begin with. So it's this chicken and the egg problem.
Yeah.
Sorry. But like, it's a chicken and the egg problem, which is I don't know how to fix that without actually getting people to show up. So maybe it won't work, but it's better than doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do something. Yeah, make flyers or whatever. I'll do whatever I can.
Thank you very much. And spiffy shirt. I love it. Sorry.
My name is Mohammed. I just want to say thank you for showing that there's people out there who actually care about their privacy and right to repair. Like back home where I was, where like right to repair and privacy isn't like very well cared about. Like I was looked at the weird one for caring about my privacy, caring about fixing my own stuff. And even when I told my parents that I want a laptop that I could fix, they looked at me weird. They just said, why don't you buy a laptop or why don't you buy a new laptop each time?
When it comes to privacy, usually if somebody says, why do you care, what are you doing? I'll say, let me see your phone. And when somebody says, why don't you buy me a new one, usually the first thing that I'll say is, give me some money, give me $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, $1,000 means something to you. Well, it means something to me too, you prick.
Yeah.
Not to call your parents a prick. I would.
Yeah.
Family dynamic. But hopefully the point gets across.
Yeah, exactly. I get that.
Everybody likes to say these things, but their own actions are usually very, very different than what they're telling you to do. They'll tell you, why don't you buy a new one, but they're not going to give you $1,000 of their own money, nor would they spend it. They're telling you that, well, who cares? You're not doing anything wrong. What's the point? But they're not going to give you your phone with the unlocked passkey, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I just wanted to say that from your YouTube channel, I looked into buying like a ThinkPad, and actually recently my ThinkPad, well, the monitor got fucked up from the rain recently, and actually I like went up and I fixed it by myself, and that shit felt incredible. Like owning your own.
It's a great rush of dopamine.
Yeah.
Once you get to, like, real activism is not getting in people's faces and bitching and saying, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And here's why that's wrong. It's getting people to share in your joy when something works. Like getting to see the fan spin. Getting to save $1,000 when you don't have $1,000. Getting something to work now when you have my level of impulse control and the manufacturer says it'll take 3 days. Like in 3 days I'll forget I even want this to work.
Yeah.
But like that, and hopefully you can help spread that to other people.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, me and my friends, we're going to see about putting flyers around college, spreading the word, and seeing like getting the word around.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Hey, how are you?
Hello, how's it going?
Good.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too. I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming out here. I've lived in Denver for my entire life, and I actually didn't even know that this was happening until I saw your video a couple days ago.
People don't. That's why I got to get this website done as soon as possible.
Yeah, for real. Absolutely. It's just
I'm waiting for them to give me a contract. I have $30,000 ready to push down a drain.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited for you. That's wonderful. I wanted to say thanks, especially for,
I appreciate
it.
This necklace, please. This is beautiful.
There was somebody giving out paper clips earlier. It wasn't mine.
I know, but the idea to make a necklace out of them is just, I love it.
It's cute. The colorful ones, too, I love them. I was wondering, would you like a hug? Totally okay if not.
Absolutely, why not?
Thank you, friends. I appreciate you.
Anytime. Thank you so much for coming out.
And thank you as well, Mackenzie.
London, you are so sweet. We spoke a little bit before she came up here, and she's super involved in local activism, and it was just very nice. You were very lovely, super lovely.
Would you like a hug as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
I really appreciate it. Thank you both. I'm going to try to be more active. This felt like a real kick in the pants and a real kind of, crossing of the Rubicon with things as well. So I'm grateful for this time, and I will take it with me, even though I have an exam to do tonight, so I got to go do that.
Awesome.
But
enjoy.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
Have fun.
Thank you, friends.
Have you ever seen the show 24?
No.
You know what
asked me
happens at
this
the end
about
of season 2?
No.
When the person goes to shake David Palmer's hand and there's like anthrax on it?
He dies?
I don't want to spoil it, but we'll see what happens in the next 90 seconds. Okay. Pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
I'm going to make you take the hug first.
Okay.
Man, that camera is a lot.
It's super glued together, as you can see, because I dropped it like an idiot.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I fuck up things a lot.
As long as the lens still works.
Right to repair.
Yeah.
See how it's like nice and jagged, like 99% of the chips I've soldered onto 60,000 tickets over the last 13 years? Yeah, jagged.
If only you could, Ethan.
What do you do?
Web development.
Oh, cool.
It's nice to come out here. If only you could get new lenses for it. I assume you can get new entire assemblies.
The lens
but-
works. It's a little plastic piece in the side of it. It's the plastic piece in the camera
Everyone's a
body.
critic. Everyone's a critic.
It'd be nice if
Oh, the lens. Yeah,
you dropped it again and the lens shattered. You could just get a new one part that shattered.
Yeah, they tried. It's an integrated unit.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Well, pleasure meeting you.
You as well.
Go figure. I buy the camera with a fucking integrated unit. What a moron am I? I'd still super glue the shit of it back together instead of buying a loose Zenzo.
I mean, it's working. It works.
Super glue all the way, baby. You know, I used to fire people who use super glue on an iPod Touch 4, and I'm using it on my own goddamn camera. It's the worst way to fix anything. It's horrible. It's what you do if you have no impulse control, no ability, or no willingness to do something properly.
Okay.
Which is how I treat my own property.
Right.
Yeah, so. Hey, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for broadcasting this so our friends at home could watch.
Awesome. Thank you for
really appreciate it.
What's your name?
Eric.
What got you to come out?
I know you're coming from out of state. I guess I wanted to know, like, does this seem like this is an issue here more than other places are talking about it, or is it popping up?
You guys have a really good story. Your mayor makes it really easy to make him a villain.
He does.
$498,000 and the whole $500,000 law thing. I mean,
yeah, I was sneaking in just under so it could be a secret.
For getting my license number on a fucking business card in New York City. It's insane. The degree to is that's essentially that's a middle finger. If he just did it anyway, but it was done in a different way, like if it was $400,000 or something, that's one thing. $498,500 is his way of saying fuck you.
Yes.
And I think
yes,
that
it is.
and it gets people more aggravated.
And my experience with DPD is they will use the fact that they have information about you to intimidate you, whether you're doing something wrong or not. If you show up to a protest and they notice your vehicle, they called me out by name to let me know that they knew who I was at a protest for Palestine. That was months ago. And in March, after Trump was elected and he started really ramping up, they started passing the budget so that he could enforce ICE, with $40 billion or whatever it is. Mayor Johnston said something to the effect of, I will be on the front lines and I am willing to get arrested to protect my city. That sentiment lasted 2 weeks before he backtracked.
Listen, maybe he should get arrested for something else.
Maybe he
as
should.
I found out, the deputy district attorney is his wife, so if anybody's going to handcuff him, I'll probably have fun with it. So, when I put out that thing and I said, report him to the attorney general, report him to, somebody just said in my comments, why are you saying to go out to the district attorney?
And it's, yeah.
If his wife handcuffs him, that's probably just a Friday night for him. But in all seriousness, maybe he should get arrested for something different. If I break the law, what happens to me? And frankly, honestly, even conservatives in the comments that are saying, okay, I love what ICE is doing, I think it's great, I voted for this. Do you want your mayor to be able to, if you all vote in your town 12-0 on something, if nobody wants us, if you just spend $500,000 of your money anyway, what kind of precedent does that set if he gets away with there?
But these things aren't temporary. They're permanent. A lot of the information, I don't believe for a second that Flock mandatorily erases everything after 30 days. So even people who voted for Trump say freaking Hillary Clinton gets into office. You're not worried about her coming back and doing the same thing that Trump is doing, but to the opposite people?
When COVID version 2 comes out and they say be 6 feet apart from each other and the camera says you're 5.5 feet apart from each other, when Gretchen Whitmer says you can't go to aisle 10 but you can go to aisle 11 in Walmart, do conservatives actually want this type of system in place that will immediately notify somebody that knows who you are? Fuck that.
I think with the facts, there's maybe 1% of people want this, knowing that the police are very willing to violate the law until they get caught.
Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants it. Well,
and even after they get caught, there's not much enforcement for them.
Even if you're pro-police, pay for police officers instead of ChatGPT and a fucking telephone pole.
Absolutely.
What is ChatGPT and a telephone pole going to do to stop crime? Or if you're so worried about car thefts, stop buying Kia and Hyundai. I don't know what to do. Yes. Buy a car with a working immobilizer. Am I allowed to do that?
Well, I'm going to let you...
Yes.
Remember the 2020? There was this TikTok challenge. People were showing with USB drives how to hack into Kias and Hyundai.
Oh, yeah. Kias and Hyundais.
I want to see the stats on every single time they say this is being done to reduce car thefts. How much of this could be reduced by just having a trade-in program for Kia for anybody else? That would be my plan if I run for office instead of Flock.
Hey, it seems like you got the people's vote.
Humor aside.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
How's it going? Thanks for coming.
I see if this is actually still streaming. Just one sec. I did not check to see if this is actually still working. Usually if I don't check that every 20 seconds, it doesn't work. Oh, I forgot you're here. Let me give you a...
Yeah, we have a professional.
We actually
Everybody
have
say
a
thank you to Marshall. Marshall's been fucking amazing.
If I had 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have glue on my camera. God bless. How are you, my friend?
Good. I just wanted to get a chance to just say I used to work for Palantir, I used to work on these artificial intelligence surveillance technologies. Yeah. I mean, everybody here who's scared shitless is completely right to be scared shitless. It violates the First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Ninth Amendment, 14th Amendment rights of people here. I studied and wrote about and made illustrations about how these tracking tools work, and companies like Palantir and Flock are bringing it here. So I myself am trying to find more ways to get engaged, do stuff like you are doing, kind of lobbying and pushing for these at the local and state level, and keep on moving forward. So I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
And thanks for informing people also on what to do, because I think that's the hardest part when you're just concerned.
The hardest part
to
is getting
actually
people
be
to
able
believe
to
that showing up actually matters.
Yeah, to me it's also like, how do we not make it just about Flock, but against the whole industry that it supports? It provides all its information to Palantir for ICE enforcement of immigration. It relies on data centers that are killing our environment. AI right now is just challenging our civil rights, the environment, immigrants, labor, education.
If you're going to kill the
everything.
environment, at the very least, it should be so I could pretend to be a lawyer when somebody tries to sue me, not so you could watch me.
Exactly. Well, nice to meet you.
It would have been more
What
environment.
are the pamphlets you have?
Yeah, I would love to share a pamphlet. We're just grassroots, a bunch of Denver orgs trying to do something about this.
It's time to say no to Flock and Palantir, Denver against machines.
Awesome.
Thank you. It would be more environmentally friendly for you to be my lawyer for free.
It would be more
You're actually
environmentally
saving the
friendly.
environment if instead of me using ChatGPT next time somebody wants to sue me, you just stay up all night responding to it for free. How does that feel?
Compelling, but not entirely compelling, I must
The
say.
environment, right?
I don't know if I can.
Sound like it.
Just wanted to thank you for.
Not to lose audio.
Oh, which one is dead? Wait, this thing? Oh, this actually has a backup. Wait, let's see. This has backup AA's inside of it. So let's just change out the big
I
one.
like your shirt.
One second.
It's cool.
Let me find.
Do what?
I like yours too.
Thank you, thank
BRB.
you, thank you.
That's why I bring like 15 different batteries. And away we go.
Stand by, stand by.
Yeah, this thing. So many I have so many batteries. So, yeah, it goes to there are AA's and there is a backup. Those Sony batteries are from 2011, from my original camera. I know, all the knockoff ones don't last.
Thank you.
God bless. This is why having a camera person.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah. Marshall's been great.
Pleasure to meet you.
So I just kind of wanted to thank you for all the work
You've done through the years for Right to Repair. I grew up in a family of mechanics, plumbers, carpenters. A lot of times, it's, if you didn't know how to do something yourself, it kind of just didn't get done. And I mean, the amount I've saved, the situations I've gotten myself into, kind of having technical repair skills, working on, I collect a lot of vintage computers, having the ability to do that work myself has, gotten me out of so many situations. It's real disappointing that, the craft of being able to actually, have your own things, repair your own things, avoid, outrageous kind of fees, losing access to what you already have, because, you can't fix it. It's real disappointing to see, but I did want to thank you for all the advocacy you do on that behalf.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Great to meet you, sir.
Also, I just want to say, you saying that, you'd be more economically friendly if you'd be my lawyer, as if you'd stop using ChatGPT for your lawyerly activities, is hilarious.
I would just need to double check your work instead of having to do everything.
Right, of course. Even though I have to beg you
have to
to
pay
double
for the
check.
probe. Pleasure to meet you.
I've been watching for a few years. I really appreciate you flying out here and having all your, taking the plunge and making your nonprofits. I think that, that kind of thing really does help, and you're doing God's work. I was a little unhappy about the decorum tonight. I think it could have been better. I think
People screaming?
Yeah.
I had better luck in Austin.
Huh?
I had mildly better luck in Austin with, with getting people to show up and curating it, but
Have you come to these sort of things before?
No.
Okay, I was gonna ask whether that was sort of normal.
No, I don't like.
People that was yelling really, really loud was also wearing a mask, so it seemed like it was a self-correcting process.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge Denver fan. I don't like Denver very much, but
I've never been to Colorado before this.
yeah. How you like the altitude?
Everybody said that supposedly like it messes with you when you REM. I was trying to get an Uber to the gym this morning, and I said, wait, it's 40 minutes to get there, and it's like 2 miles away.
Yeah.
I'll just run.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Okay. The traffic is the bad part, huh?
At least the air. The air is not as bad as I thought it would be. I haven't spent much. I've honestly just went to hotel, gym, council person's office, other council person's office. Apparently you guys have all your city council people in different areas, 15 to 20 miles from each other, which I didn't realize when I scheduled the interviews.
Well, that's not entirely true. There's like 2 council members that are aside from the main section of council members. They're not like, in a spider web formation across the city.
Don't distract my narrative with facts.
All right. Well, I just want to say again, thank you for coming out. I appreciate the support out here.
It was a
in my
pleasure.
neck
Thank
of the
you so
woods.
much. So many people.
Hey,
Hello.
I'm Caleb, and I just wanted to say thank you for coming to Denver. I've lived here my whole life, and I've watched you pretty much ever since you were doing Right to Repair stuff, and I just really appreciate all the stuff you do. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have much to say. I just
thank you for taking
happy
the time.
that you came and are supporting this because
Who
I don't
wants
like
a king
this.
for a mayor?
What was that?
Who wants a king for a mayor?
Exactly. I hate this mayor. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. And nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Dee. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I've watched your content for a little bit here and there. Really loved all the stuff digging into the Apple machines. I'm going to the motherboards, doing the X-rays, and seeing you here in my city as an activist for advocating for things like not doing mass surveillance is really humbling, and I appreciate that. So thank you for coming out. I'm curious what it was like in Texas versus here, because I didn't see any of the footage at all, and I'm wondering what the nationwide response was like from your eyes.
Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
In Austin, Texas, a bunch of people showed up from the Democratic Socialists of America. And
Yeah.
Viter, Texas, which if you go to YouTube and just type in Viter, Texas,
Yeah.
you'll see.
Yeah.
And there's this woman that showed up and it's like, oh yeah, screw socialism, I don't want that in my state and all. And nobody wants it. No matter who I talk, even people that have the Back to Blue bumper stickers, they're like, yeah, why don't you use that money to hire a cop and go over there instead of this? People who don't like the police are like, I don't want them being able to see everywhere that I go.
Yeah.
No matter where I visit, no matter who I get an email from, no matter what politician I speak to at the state or federal level, which I've spoken to a few at this point, can't say who, nobody wants it.
Yeah.
It's just across the board.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it. There are several Republican politicians that are saying, I'm afraid of the ability for this to potentially be responsible for a mass casualty event. Because, man, just do a little ChatGPT. What roadways have the most cars that look like they carry food and things that are vital go through them? So where would you, where do you want to plant your bomb? Where do you want to blow something up? And getting into these systems, it's killing me to keep my lips closed at the sheer amount of security vulnerabilities in them that I cannot disclose.
Yeah.
I have to wait for the ethical or what's the
Statute of limitations?
Responsible. No, that's something else.
Okay.
Don't you? You give me your phone. No, the responsible disclosure rules. There are so many ways that it is easy to get into that shit. It kills me to keep my mouth shut, but it's too easy to get into that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it can be used for those things.
Yeah.
And across, it doesn't matter who I talk to. Everybody has a different reason for thinking this is garbage. And I just want to, as I'm traveling across the city or the country, I want to just kind of go to more of these and have people who are watching see. Regardless of how somebody votes, every group of people has a reason for thinking this is a garbage way to spend your money.
Absolutely. Every month I feel like we have a data breach, if not every week or so. And it doesn't take very much to have a bad actor go in and access this.
How many 35-cent checks do you have in your fridge from Visa or Equifax or something?
Right, yeah. At least 2.
You can find my Social Security on Google. I'm not kidding. I give up at this point. I have no idea.
Probably not a good idea to advertise that.
I've already said this. It's I don't have an identity worth stealing.
Okay.
I figure if I keep my credit score low enough, that kind of balances it out. Nobody gives a shit.
Right. You steal my debt.
But seriously, you don't get compensated for the amount of data on you that is out there everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want a 34-cent check on my refrigerator. And frankly, they're not even paying you. What makes this as offensive as it is you're paying them.
Yes, absolutely.
You're paying them to be watched all the time.
Yeah, and for something we didn't agree to. So.
Yeah. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yep.
How's it going?
Hello. Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I've been a long-time viewer. I've been watching you since the Realty Days in New York. I thought those were some very interesting videos back then. Just wanted to say hi, and this was my first time at like a city hall, and it was a very interesting experience for here. So
I'm going to run to the restroom very quickly.
Yes. Okay.
Be right back. Right. Bathroom.
I'm going to grab a drink as well. I do want to ask you, though.
Sorry.
How's it been coming out to City Hall? Like, do you think you'll come out in the future?
I'm not sure if I'll come out in the future just because, like, the energy was exhausting for me. So, like,
I will say this is definitely more energy than a lot of city council meetings.
Okay.
Let me tell you that.
Okay.
Also, this isn't a city council meeting; it's town hall, which is why people are allowed to, yeah. It's a bit is an understatement. It's rowdy, yeah. Yeah.
Also, I wasn't expecting all the energy that from at this place than what I've seen on other clips of what YouTube clips that Lewis has posted, where everyone's more willing to listen to both sides of the story.
Yeah, those are like proper city council meetings. Denver has those too. There's like rules of decorum. There's etc. These are town halls, obviously.
They're a little more loose, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Here, we hold this while I get a drink.
It was never opened.
Oh, thank you.
Brand new.
Well, I just want to say thank you again.
Thank you very much.
I don't have a question either. I just want to say thanks for, bringing the attention to light, and, because I wouldn't have known about this otherwise. And I'm just moved to Boulder from DC, so 40 minutes or so. I thought it was worth, this is my first time attending one of these type of things, and I feel like this is a chance to be incorporated in, in politics and stuff locally at the local level, and do what I can as like a citizen. So I just want to say thank you that you brought it to light, and not as civil as we thought, as it would be, as we would like, but, take what we can get. So thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm Ryan.
Sorry, pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you. I'm a programmer around here, so I just want to say thank you for coming out. I joined the Zulip group, so I'd love to see what I could do to get involved with the city council thing. So
thank you.
Yeah, just want to say that. Happy night.
Oh, speaking of, remember that QR idea that we had for
Yes.
the Zulip group? Oh, no,
You did it?
never mind. That's not to the Zulu group. Huh? My bad. Someone gave me a QR code to the list you made of all the things that people could do in Denver.
Oh, yeah, I have to edit that to not include like helping the mayor get handcuffed by his wife.
Yeah.
That's never going to get it. That comment, the feeling of reading that comment for the first time is never going to get old. Sorry.
Okay, first off, I'd like to say I appreciate all the work that you do. It makes the world a better place, man. We live in Loveland, Colorado, and we've had the flock cameras up for a while, and we're kind of wondering, like, what is something that we could do to try to minimize them in our community when they're already here?
I've been answering that question the best as I can as somebody who pretends he knows what he's doing at the city level. But since there's 3 city council people over there, particularly the woman in the pink and black dress, she would know she works for city government and is elected, so she'd be able to give you an infinitely better answer. Because all the answers that I'm going to have, just the fact that I said, here, report him to your district attorney, when the district attorney deputy is his wife. I do not understand your city's local politics the way that they are going to be, and they showed up specifically because they want to speak to people like you who want to get engaged. So, in that case, she'd offer a much better answer than I would. I'd ask her what you could do locally, because what you could do locally is way different than what Vidor, Texas could do locally, which is way different than what Austin, Texas could do locally.
Yeah.
Because I just have the generic boilerplate answer of show up to your city council hearings, speak about it, get more people to show up to them.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. And things she won't let me say on camera. Wavelengths are not illegal.
I don't even know what that refers to.
Hi, I'm Josh.
Pleasure to meet you.
I just wanted to say thank you because I've never been out to a town hall council meeting before. I've never felt any connection towards that sort of thing. Watching all of the stuff you've done around consumer rights, I don't know if it started with Apple, but and then just branching out to going after everything you really actually think matters, especially with stuff like flock security. I just moved here to Denver, and seeing a video from you saying, hey, next week in Denver, we're going to be going to this town hall meeting talking about something like flock that really matters. Thanks for getting out and honestly getting me out here too.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thanks. All right.
Pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
I'm going to plug something in that may not be plugged in. One sec.
Do we need to move, Marshall? I noticed we've been crawling forward little by little. Okay.
One sec.
True. That's true. Yeah, this place was packed, wall to wall, like barely anywhere to stand. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, I could have unplugged my shitty computer. I got that. There we go. I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Very stylish.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just want to say thank you. I've been watching your videos since your NYC days. Just the fact that you are constantly representing and kind of bringing light to things that affect consumers, that affect the community, I really appreciate that. And it's just so selfless, and I really respect that.
Thank you.
I say thank you.
Pleasure meeting you.
And keep it up.
Hello. How are you? Sorry, I'm hand sweaty.
I feel that one. I didn't have too much of a question. I just kind of wanted to come up and thank you. I've been following your channel for a while since you were fighting with the state of New York over the insurance and seeing some of the beefs with LTT and that stuff, and really like the way you hold these companies accountable for what they're doing to erode everybody's freedom and just strip away more and more of our rights. So just been following. I came all the way down from Fort Collins after 10 days in a row of work, doing 60 hours last week.
What do you do?
I do utility locates, where I mark gas and electric for Excel. So this was a pretty important thing to me, though. I'm an anxious person.
Thank you.
I heard you mention that.
I don't really hold anybody
Don't let it
accountable.
hold you back.
It's you guys showing up that hold people accountable. I just talk on the internet. Like if I just talked and nobody showed up here, who would give a shit? If I talked and nobody showed up in Austin for an hour and a half to interrupt the mayor, who would care? If I talked about right to repair stuff but nobody emailed in or told the representative to care, like nothing would happen. It happens because you show up, and that's what I'm like. So it's on you, not me. But thank you for showing up. And I know you have a lot to do.
I even called Visa for that whole Visa MasterCard thing, did a video on that. So got the Clippy picture. So I definitely been trying to do my part as much as I can. I've never been involved with anything like this before. So I was like, hey, I'll come down. He's in town. Let me see kind of how the process works and at least show my support. So I really appreciate what you do a lot.
I have something for you. I forget which pocket it's in. People have been handing me things all night. Here. It's a better paperclip.
Oh, hell yeah.
Somebody gave this to me. Here,
Hell
Steve
yeah.
Ballmer, you can't get me in trouble for this. Or Satya Nadella, whoever it is.
Oh, sweet. I will treasure this. I appreciate you.
Thank you for coming out, my friend.
Oh, no problem.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you, Louis?
Pleasure to meet you.
My name's Nate. Thanks for organizing the part of this that you did organize, and having all the Clippies come.
Thank you for
I don't
coming
know
out.
what to say before coming up here, but I really appreciate what you do for consumer rights. Right to Repair movement is kind of when I first started following your channel and appreciating your passion for not only consumer rights, but people's rights at the same time. And I really appreciate someone with a voice like yours helping to lift up the voices of people like us.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate you.
It only works if people show up, and so you showing up is what makes it work. So thank you for being a part of it. Only 1% of people actually show up and do something, and you're one of them. So thank you for that.
Say hi to Mr. Clinton for me.
I will. I'll give him a pat when I get
All
home.
righty. Thank you.
Hello. How's it going?
Not bad, how are you? I would first like to apologize for adding to your insane queue.
Oh, it's fine.
But I'd like to thank you for being a catalyst against apathy, and especially in spreading information around to everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you for showing up. It's because people show up that things change or have a chance of it. I appreciate it. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good to see you too. The change you've been making, like with the right to repair stuff, I've watched you throughout all of high school, and I started working at a local repair shop in Loveland, Colorado. I've been, entrusted the shop for multiple months on end, and being able to see like firsthand, like the things you talk about with all the bull crap that you have to deal with parts and services and stuff like that. There's one thing that I had come into contact with recently is HP pulling support for drivers, and I've had a couple of older machines come in, and I just wanted to see if you've had any thoughts on that.
When you say pulling support, what do you mean?
If you go on the HP's website and you are looking for older drivers for an older machine, you're not going to be able to find it anymore because it's no longer on that website. It's no longer supporting that page.
For the printers or for the laptops?
Laptops, yeah.
One of the interesting things I've noticed with Linux over the years is for all the things it fails at, when you boot up Windows, but there's so many laptops where I put a Windows disk in it, and it's a 3-year-old laptop, and you don't have Wi-Fi drivers, and you boot up Ubuntu or Mint or Debian or even Arch, it just works.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it
is.
is.
And the fact that Windows 10 no longer has support, if you're in the United States, they're only providing security updates to people in the EU instead of people in their home country. Trying to get people to use something else is now it's a time for that. Because if they use that, it's not even that's bad. It's that if there's a security risk, if somebody comes up with a breach, you're just going to get hacked.
Yeah.
So because if you use Linux, a lot of those things you don't even need to install drivers a lot of the time. It just works. Everything else won't work not everything else. Just the things that I care about.
As a walk-in repair shop, it's hard to convince the older folks that come in with their, they just want a simple web browsing machine. It's hard to convince them to go to something they're not used to.
Yeah, that's hell. Okay.
So,
I completely forgot that the economic part of it or like you having to explain to people who are computer illiterate.
Yeah.
You should install this new operating. That's a meme. Yeah.
Well,
I don't have a good answer for you there. That's not going to be fun.
Anyways, thank you so much for everything you do. I've been watching you for years, and everything you do is such an inspiration. You're incredible, Lewis.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, it's going.
Hello, how are you?
Doing all right. So I'm a Clippy Oros from the Zulip chat, which if you're a Clippy and you're not in Zulip, what are you doing with your life?
Awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for coming out here. I work in cybersecurity, work in offensive security and cyber threat intelligence, and I largely wanted to point out, I was hoping to get a chance to point out a lot of the cybersecurity flaws that are in the Flock systems, to get to talk about that because they're not adhering to cybersecurity certification standards.
It destroys my soul that I can't say out loud without violating ethical and responsible disclosure the things that I know.
I know.
And it's like I try.
I know the pain.
I'm losing the battle. So far, I haven't said anything, but the shit that somebody could do if they had the right knowledge, it's fucking insane. The level of stalking that you could do with that system right now is insane.
The ADV.
And what I'm trying to do when I'm speaking to certain politicians, if I can't get you to care about the rest of this stuff, because let's say you're pro-ICE and don't care about this.
Right.
What if they can follow you?
Right.
Because
they absolutely can.
Yes. It's scary.
It is scary. And I think people who just outside these walls, how do we get the message out and stuff like that? So that was kind of the part two of what I wanted to do here today is to reach out to the council members. I've actually got an in with a council member now to go speak with council member Parity to speak more on the cybersecurity perspective, since I can speak to that as a specialty. So we'll be hitting them hard. I don't know if the mayor's office is aware of your track record with right to work. I don't think he was shaken in his boots enough. I don't know if he just got amnesia or what, but yeah. No,
I've gotten 2 bills passed in the state at the state level, the wheelchair one and the agricultural one, and I'm happy to fuck with him in the city level as long as humanly possible, and put my own money in to do it just because he's a cunt.
Absolutely.
I would find this fun.
Oh,
what is a life savings for if not to screw with the mayor of another city?
Exactly. Well, yeah, thanks for speaking with me. God bless the grass, as the great Malvina Reynolds would say.
Thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you. Hello, how are you?
I was sent with a specific instruction.
Uh-oh.
My dear friend who was not able to be here tonight wanted me to say, thanks for keeping the fight alive, the message consistent, and the people informed. I am with you. I'm doing my part to get people in the wiki to document as much as possible.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Fist bump by association.
Also, this is my mother. She didn't even know
Pleasure
about
to-
you until
pleasure to meet you.
I dragged her along. So.
Yeah, she introduced me to the whole issue and the web.
Awesome. Thank you for coming out.
I first discovered your channel through the right to repair stuff, and I'm a big proponent of that stuff as well.
That's great. Thank you for coming out.
Yes.
People
Thank
showing
you
up is what
for
makes the
making
difference.
time to come all the way to Denver. Just a random aside. What's your favorite bagel?
My favorite bagel? I don't like carbs.
That's a really good question.
Okay.
I cheat. I've been cheating a little bit, but I try to avoid.
Brooklyn might have a favorite bagel.
I know.
Do you have
It's
a
just
favorite
it makes
bagel?
me fat.
Hmm?
I'm already
Do you have a
fat
favorite
enough as it
bagel?
is.
Everything.
Oh, same.
Carbs destroy me.
Aw.
I wish. I love bagels.
Thank you so much.
I'd say garlic and onion. Garlic and onion. I don't want to think about it because now I want a fucking bagel.
How's it going, Alex? Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet
Thanks so much for bringing attention to the issue. I just want to say quickly, imagine a world where law enforcement had access to your Ring or Nest cameras all the time and could just
Flock just announced, I don't know if you know this,
That
announced that
exists.
partnership with
Exactly. I was just about to say, hypothetically.
Senator Markey questioned Amazon in 2022, and they said 11 times they gave footage to the police without a warrant, but more importantly, without actually getting the approval of the person who owned the Ring doorbell camera. That was in
Exactly.
2022, and that was what they admitted to.
Exactly. So the reason why Flock is so much worse is because, at least with Nest or Ring cameras, there are ways to opt out, right? In some jurisdictions, you can opt out of having your data collected. There's a checkbox for that. You can not agree to the terms of service. And if all else fails, you can just not buy IoT devices. You can just not have a Nest or Ring camera, and there's no footage for them to have access to. With Flock cameras, there's no terms of service for you or for the people that are viewing the footage in law enforcement, and you don't get to opt out. The second you walk under a Flock camera, you're consenting to be tracked and surveilled. And the second you walk under two of them, then you're giving them, you're giving law enforcement permission to track you or do AI pattern matching to figure out where you've been. So I think that's really where the problem is, and that's what people need to realize, is that you don't get to opt out, and we're not given that option if any of what's happening happens.
Yeah.
So
There's no way to opt out except for
doing what we're doing here.
It really shouldn't be opt out. It should be opt in, right? Because even if it's opt out, most people aren't going to scroll through the deliberately dark pattern settings to find it.
Those emails you get, like from certain social media platforms that say, "Oh, by using our service, you consent to our terms." It's kind of what this is like. Oh, by walking under a camera, you consent to be recorded all the time and tracked. And
Yeah, screw that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you for
Thank
showing
you so
up.
much. Appreciate it.
You can also opt out with a laser.
To be determined.
I just want to say I used to watch your repair videos back in the day, I don't know, early in your channel, and yeah, I'm an electrical engineer. I do space stuff now.
You do real stuff.
Yeah.
Real work.
So if you want
Awesome.
some space stickers, these are different missions
Sure.
that my lab worked on.
No way.
This
This is
the
awesome.
Mars mission. These are these three were all in Earth orbit or whatever.
This is
one
really-
hasn't launched yet, but anyway.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing this with me.
Yeah. But yeah, appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
I'm going to put this over here so I don't lose it. 'Cause that won't fit in my pocket. Hello.
Just wanted to say, watched you for a long time. Appreciate you bringing eyes to on all this, going around the country, taking time and effort and money out of your pocket to, bring this to attention to people that probably wouldn't see it. But if somebody can rant about, computer parts not working, and then get an audience and snowball it into something where they're actually with people that are experiencing it, and it inspires others to do the same. So
Thank you.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Hello. How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
I'm Will, the creator of DFlock, which is the site that lets you map these things.
Oh, you're awesome.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Yeah, Will's great. Will does excellent work.
I like your
Phenomenal work, yes.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, so...
Check out his site. So name of it again?
Oh, yeah. Dflock.me, dflock.org redirects to the same
I'm
thing.
just going to get a water.
Soon we will have a navigation system that routes you around these things. So temporary solution, but not exactly getting rid of them.
Shit.
But yeah, Flock sucks. They're a company that has gone out of their way to go as far as updating firmware on their battery packs so that we can't find them while we're driving, and invalidating URLs that all of their customers use throughout the entire country, just because they saw that we were getting data from it and using it to populate the site.
Yeah,
So
menace.
yeah,
I like it.
in my opinion, they don't care about transparency. And yeah, thank you so much for focusing on this and sharing this with people, because if people don't know about it, then they can't really do anything.
That site is awesome. Thank you for making this.
Yeah, thanks.
Anybody, when you ask in the comments, what do I donate to, find this man's site. He is why you know if you have a Flock camera in your neighborhood. That takes time, it takes work, it takes effort.
And just outside of it, he does a lot of extremely cool research and connecting with the community. We're involved in a lot of chats together, and you do phenomenal work.
Thanks. Also,
Thank you for being a menace. I mean that as a compliment.
Thanks. Open source contributors also welcome, but also contribute to the city council tracker, because that is super useful. Yeah, thank you.
Will is so cool. Will's one of the coolest people ever.
I like Will. Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. I have nothing in particular I want to say. I just respect your work, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for showing up.
And thank you for being in Denver, our town that means so much to us, and me personally. That's why I'm here. Lived here my whole life, and I hate mass surveillance. It doesn't do
Who
anything.
likes mass surveillance?
Right. The billionaires, I guess.
I don't even know if all of them do. mean, the ones that profit, okay, the ones that own a lot of Palantir probably do, but
Yeah. Other than that, really no one else. Super unpopular. But yeah, that's it.
I know a billionaire that hates it.
Ooh. Are you allowed to say?
Oh yeah, Aaron. What? He tells people to put ad block on everything. It's like the entire advertising industry should fail. He hates people being watched all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah. Well, that's all I have to say. Thank you, and
Yeah.
have a good night.
Thank you very much.
I'm
All right.
very much in the same boat. I don't have much to say, just that I really appreciate what you do, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for coming out.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Yeah. Have a good night.
You too, my friend.
Mr. Osman.
Hello.
It's crazy to actually be here. I saw your video earlier this week, and just being here, seeing you in person, I just have to say I appreciate everything you've done. Speaking in terms of just the right to repair, the right to privacy, the right to own. I have an iPad 6, the first one that supports the Apple Pencil, the first that I have replaced the screen on. I've had it since 2018, and I've done a really shitty job, but it still works. I don't have to replace the ICs or anything on it, but I can still use the Apple Pencil to create art. And it's also on 14.3, which allows me to sign apps to it indefinitely. So it's my device, not Apple's, but mine. So
That's the way it should be. You guys.
Respect.
Thank you.
Fist bump.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you.
Hello, Lewis.
Hello. How are you?
Good. First of all, can I have a selfie?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I don't want to break your camera lens, though. I have a face for radio.
That's okay. You probably already heard it 100 times today, but you're a huge inspiration for me. I work in IT now because of you and Linus. That's what I tell everybody.
Awesome.
So,
what do you do?
Yeah. What do I do? I'm a sysadmin.
Very cool.
Yeah, I did that with the Air Force for the last 4 years. I've been trying to find a job for the last 6 months because the job market is a giant mess right now. But yeah, just really wanted to say thank you. I've been watching you for 7 or 8 years, I think now, since you were in New York doing MacBook repairs. So
Paul would want me to ask this, but do they serve caviar for lunch when you're working on their computers?
no, they don't.
He's a Marine.
And you would ask that question, yes. That's usually how that goes. No, I unfortunately was stuck in Texas. Do you know San Angelo?
Yeah.
It's right in the middle. Yeah, I was stuck there for 4 years.
They probably stuck you at Fogo de Chao.
Fuck nowhere town. Yeah, it was not great. But I'm here now, and as you know, I was also from New York originally too. So, fellow New Yorker, I understand why you got the hell out of there too. So,
yeah.
But thank you for
Pleasure
everything.
meeting you, my friend.
Thank you. I won't take up too much of your time.
No
I
worries.
probably want to go home. The raccoonizer.
Well, I don't have home. Home is a long way away. I look like this even if I do sleep.
I know.
I was just born ugly.
I've seen the video. You talked about that. So, yeah, hey, really, thank you. Please keep it up. A huge inspiration even now. This is awesome. Thank you for coming here and standing up for us. The Denverites here really means a lot.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Pleasure.
Thank you both. Safe trip home. Take it easy, all right?
Hello.
You and Linus.
Sitting in a tree?
Yeah.
How about you? What were you saying I could do with this thing?
Yeah, thank you so much for your contributions to Right to Repair and for coming out here on such a short notice. Yeah, awesome work that you do. Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you. So yeah, selfie. All right, thank you.
Mackenzie and Peter Thiel.
Hey, I'm willing to take one for the team.
Girl.
How's it going, man?
How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
I'm Louis.
Been following your channel for a few years now. I work in the Class 8 big truck, 18-wheeler kind of industry. We also see a lot of the market manipulation practices in there, and similar sort of analogies, if that makes any sense.
Have you watched any of Edison Motors videos on YouTube?
I have heard of the channel. I'm not.
They do logging, so they make
Yeah.
these electric trucks for they do-it-yourself electric trucks. They sell the kits to retrofit them. It's for a very specific purpose where they're going up a hill.
Yeah.
They're with an empty truck, and then they're taking down like $20,000 or $60,000 worth of 20 or 60,000 pounds worth of trees, and then they're going back down the hill. Because they go up the hill empty, and then they go back down the hill with like 60,000 pounds of stuff. The regenerative braking will recharge the truck each time.
Yeah.
So they kind of get this like infinite energy cheat. I can't
Yeah.
say infinite energy. Or Dave
Wow.
Jones at EV Blog will come.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. That's incredible. I
Yeah,
should look into
I was
that.
curious if you had
Oh.
thought of anything of it.
No, I hadn't heard about that. Is there any way I could get your autograph?
Yeah, sure.
Is that cool?
I have horrible handwriting though.
Oh,
Mrs.
no.
Friedland would not approve.
Something physical is awesome. Appreciate it, man. Oh, sorry.
Rotated completely.
Just the front page.
What?
Not like a semicircle.
Oh shit! Look at the tape.
Yeah. The whole time you've been like, hello. Yeah.
Right. Too.
Thank you so much for coming out here and standing up for this issue.
Right to
That's
the
huge.
fair.
It really shows good character, and we're thankful for that.
Thank you. Oh, there
Thank you
are.
so much, sir.
Sorry for the handwriting.
No, of course. Thank you.
I will go back to the light. Where you put the light? I'm a horrible person to be a camera person for. Pleasure to meet you. I moved. It shifted.
Nice to meet you.
Like
Thanks for all your hard
like
work.
the goalpost with cameras in your city.
Oh,
See, I made a
I'm-
pun.
I'm
Huh?
really,
Huh?
yeah, really loving seeing them here in the city. It's a great thing.
Yes.
Actually, I had a weird thought with these cameras. With both the cameras, with a lot of the potentially price setting through tracking customers through stores, and also, say, tracking the wireless signals that are passively emitted from vehicles that you could set up at roadside stations that don't even necessarily need cameras. Couldn't you create a system that you could say, hey, we want someone to go buy this product, start having them get notifications on their phone, distracting them through their infotainment, because there's a lot of ads nowadays through infotainment.
I think Ford did a patent to have to be able to hear what you're saying in the car and then advertise to you based on it. About a year and a half ago.
Oh, that's great.
Lawyers suck. The ones that write these patents especially. Just blame the lawyers. It's always the lawyers.
Definitely. Oh, hi. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to say hi.
It was a pleasure meeting you, my friend. Thank you for coming out. It makes a difference.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you for coming. I just wanted to say, well, thank you for coming, and I appreciate your advocacy and right to repair and on this.
Awesome. Thank you for showing up. Most people don't show up because they don't think it matters. And sometimes it doesn't, but when they don't show up, then you never get what you want. And you have a 0% chance of that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of what you said, like eventually this is one's gonna be outside of my garage door. So
At some point. Thank you for coming by.
thank you.
You have a cooler camera than I do.
It's actually my backup camera. My good one is getting worked on right now. But actually, I know you're a really popular guy. I just found out about you the other day. My friend sent me a link to your video, so I found out about this whole thing. I knew about the flock cameras, but I'm a YouTuber also. I'm a journalist, a civil liberties activist, so it's really struck a chord with me because I mainly do like First Amendment stuff, but I feel like this is potentially a Fourth Amendment violation, but I mean, there really is no expectation of privacy.
Oh, what happened?
Sorry. True, I saw he had a mic, and I just assumed that we could hear you. Though I will say that's not entirely true with the Fourth Amendment. There's a lot of gray area around like reasonable expectations of privacy within certain public settings.
She's right. She's a lawyer, not a mic person.
Oh, you're a lawyer? Okay. Yeah, because I was always told that there's no expectation of like Cats versus the United States. You know that one? So that I was always told, except with the exception of like maybe like a restroom or someone where anyone would reasonably be able to expect that there would be privacy.
There's also there's also sort of gray areas around like, are you technically in public if you have your window open, if you are behind like a privacy fence, those kinds of things play into that analysis. And there's no like stopping these flock cameras from surveying into people's houses or into private yards or onto private property. So that's where the area gets a little gray.
And I'm totally against them anyways, because I think government has too much power and control over us anyways, so. But one thing with I think that the mayor is actually in violation of the, what was the thing that you were saying? I had a brain fart.
Is it the ordinance about the $500,000 contract?
It's a CRS.
I don't remember.
Public officials are always guilty of official misconduct because he did it with the intent knowingly to bypass approval. So, and it's like laws for thee, but not for me. And government is the epitome of do as I say, not as I do.
Marry the district attorney.
It's like, I'm getting tired of it, man.
I would never marry a lawyer, but if I was a criminal, I'd think about it.
Yeah.
Marry a district attorney. That's how you get out of it.
Yeah. But anyway, so I wanted to thank you for coming out here to Denver, to my city, to do this, man.
Thank you for coming by, too.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for covering it.
Yeah, man. Here, let me give you my card, too, because I'm a YouTuber. Maybe you check me out.
Sure. Here.
I do like First Amendment stuff, mainly.
Denver Metro audits.
When you say First Amendment, what do you mean by First Amendment?
Wait,
audits.
what am I doing?
But
Nobody's
I
gonna
also
see.
do like cop watching. I speak at city
Yeah, oh, well.
council meetings. I do interviews
I tried.
with attorneys and victims of civil rights violations and stuff like that. So I do lots of stuff besides just First Amendment audits, but civil liberties as a whole, stuff like this too. So
That's awesome. That's phenomenal.
thank you guys. Thanks again. Appreciate you.
Thank you for coming out. Tired. So tired.
You do handshakes?
Just fist bump. My hands are sweaty. How's it going?
Thank you for everything that you do, and thank you in particular for that final question, pushing people to think a little more big picture about things beyond. This is a local meeting, but that big picture, I think, really helps frame things in a more national light. Do you think that you're going to get that precedent? Do you think that you're going to be able to build something across all of these different small-scale things, which is really going to throw a wrench into building up this really, it looks like, national-scale surveillance network?
I don't know if I'll be able to, but that's not going to stop me from trying and putting time and money into it. I think that it's doable. I think every single group of people is going to have different reasons for it. Some people don't want to be spied on all the time. Some people don't want there to be some sort of mass casualty event that is, or some sort of event where it's really easy to figure out when can I do the most damage at a particular area at a particular time. Some people don't want ICE rounding people up. Some people don't want, if COVID version 2 comes out, for Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer to be able to know when you're 5.5 feet apart versus 6 feet apart. Everybody's going to have their own reasons, and my job is going to be to get every single person to realize, even if you disagree with these people's reasons for not wanting this here, you have your own reasons for not wanting it here. I don't know if I'm going to succeed at that. I don't know if I'm good enough at it, but I'm definitely going to try.
Well, I think that's the right answer. You do it because it's the right thing to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming by.
Oh, gosh, sure.
Hello.
Oh, yes, pleasure to meet you. Let me set this down or shift it over. My name's Jules from julescraft.com. JOULESCRAFT, the innocent mom of my child who was removed into the foster industry with also away from his disabled veteran father. And so I just came here to flock with the birds of a feather who are double flipping birds to build a bridge with this issue and our Better Together Double Trouble Struggle Juggle. I don't know if you'd like to show the camera that photo of some flipping birds. So my question here, involves this issue beyond that metaphorical allegory and picture as represented in film. So basically, I'm questioning how, what actions will be taken to alleviate the impact of innocent people who are violated unfairly. As somebody who advocates for civil rights, I understand that, anyone who feels there's an invasion of privacy or any kind of targeting for civil rights issue, there must be some kind of action taken when somebody does feel violated. So, in our case, those who prevent our human rights are still free. They haven't been held accountable. So I wonder when violators will be tracked, caught, and made responsible for stealing our children and risking our lives via threats and deprivation. I was recently tracked.
I would just say that sounds a little bit outside of our scope.
I am so confused.
Yeah.
So to explain, I wrote a 500-page novel that answers all common questions.
That's a lot of words.
It's a musical documentary in order to not repeat myself, but having to do with the scope of this, tracking issue. There was a big poster in the jail where it said, you've been tracked.
Would you like a hug?
Poster. Oh, right. Right now I'm going to be holding these things. It's not okay that they had tracked and targeted victims and arrested me from a parking lot of a church after church service on Sunday while I was sitting there making Christmas cards.
I wish you the best of luck with all of this, but I have no idea.
Trafficking issue.
I'm going to go pack up my camera now.
Parking lot. I'm going to get to my question. This involves human trafficking ordeal, and these cameras.
That seems so outside of our.
I have no idea. I'm so sorry.
I haven't got to the question.
Looks like I got the signal from the venue. We better shut down.
Yeah, we gotta go.
What?
We gotta go. We gotta go.